When things feel a bit chaotic, Instacart helps deliver milk and sausage. Add a little life to your cart. Get stuff from literally all your stores, from baby wipes to albacore. Add a little life to your cart. Instacart helps get your groceries. Your first 3 deliveries are free.
Download Instacart. Add life to cart. Terms apply.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3994. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my God, and you are the Men's Room. What's up today? It is the random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: horror movies and candy bars. Comedian Craig Gass joins us in studio, and we will play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, phonable listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack.
All right, here we go. TSA asks a woman if she's smuggling anything. She says, depends. Meanwhile, a Michigan man does meth and smokes weed, and that's where his car ride ends. To North Kakalaki, where thieves steal thousands worth of Halloween display, a Florida man wanted ex-girlfriend's new man to go away, and a woman who got the wrong order at a coffee shop spends 3 months in jail. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, if you are the parents of young children, they are no doubt excited about tomorrow because tomorrow is Halloween. And Halloween, of course, is the one day that we encourage our kids to talk to and take candy from strangers. We should really rethink that. Anyway, I know that my kids are excited, and I hope that they enjoy the day because they only have 1 or 2 more years of trick-or-treating left. Apparently, most people believe that no one over the age of 13 years old or in high school should trick-or-treat. In fact, in some cities, that's actually the law. Seriously, in one Virginia city, you can get up to 6 months in jail if you're over 12 years old and you're caught trick-or-treating. Can't make this stuff up. So while some people think there should be an age limit on trick-or-treating, they do not think there should be an age limit for how long one lives with their parents. Based on the latest data, 52% of people between the ages of 18 and 29 live with one or both parents. 52%. And on that note, a woman in Italy just won a court case to evict her 2 adult sons from her home. They're 40 and 42 years old. And according to her, they contribute nothing. Actually, she didn't say that. What she did do is call them parasites. So I think you can do the math there. But these are just some of the stories we've come across. Stories that left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question. And this is how it works. You call us, we'll ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your story, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Be part of the big show, the random question. Call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com, and screen it like you mean it.
Transit is better with an Orca card. Here's why. 1, it's easy. Just tap and pay your way onto Metro and all other public transit around the Sound. 2, your tap shows us when and where you're riding the most, so Metro can serve you better. And 3, Orca cards are for everyone. 18 and younger now ride free with a free youth Orca card. So what are you waiting for? Get an Orca card, tap for transit, and make your ride count today. Visit kingcounty.gov/tap for transit.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, Charles, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3994. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. The exciting return of your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, yeah.
See if you can figure out the theme to these categories. We have the top 10 best candy bars.
All right.
I said, you know what? Candy's too complicated. When you throw in all the Starbursts of the world and all the other stuff, the Skittles of the world.
The fruity stuff.
Yeah, there's too many options. So I just narrowed it down to the top 10 candy bars in the United States. I do have 18 of them. Here's what we're going to do today on a very special Your Guess is as good as mine.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If you get any 10 right out of the 18.
Oh, really?
You are, in fact, a winner.
Okay.
We'll do it that way because there's all kinds of different candy bars on there. And let's face it, like anything else, they do have a list of the most popular as far as the units of sales are concerned.
Okay.
But there are also a lot of people up there just like, look, I like this candy bar. It deserves to be in the top 10. So people voted on it that way as well.
All right.
So it's kind of a combination of numbers as far as the actual numbers and how much people like the candy. Then we have a list of the best horror movies that will haunt you long after the credits roll.
Horror. Oh, okay.
Horror movies.
Sorry. Misunderstood her.
No Mia Khalifa.
Yeah.
Basically, there's 20 of these.
Okay.
But again, if you get 10 right, I'm going to give it to you.
And these are ones you said stick with you after the movie's done.
A few of them I have not heard of. I know if you're into that kind of genre, you know all of these movies. But either way,
Mike will probably do well with that category.
Those are the two categories coming up with Your Guess as Good as Mine.
Mike likes horror.
Candy bars and horror movies, yes.
Horrors.
Comedian Craig Gass is joining us in studio. Look at the idea. He's flying in from Portland. Mike, do we know is his gig? His gig is not tonight, is it?
It is not tonight that I.
He's probably doing a Halloween gig. Well,
Yeah.
well, we should look that up before he gets here and find out exactly what.
Just ask him when he's here. Yeah. It doesn't get easier. Why are you here? So we'll have a show tomorrow or whatever. You go, cool. Let's talk about that.
He
I
likes
think
to
he's
hang
doing
out
a
in Seattle.
special Kiss show, too.
Correct.
Oh, really?
He is, but that's a week away. So maybe spending time with some family for a week.
Yeah, I mean, he's from here.
Could be that too. Yeah,
he'll be here on Sunday.
Either way, Craig Gass in studio joining us coming up on the program as well. What else do we have for you? Too much show today. A Men's Room Happy Hour episode number 488 exclusively on the Odyssey app. We'll head over there. More Men's Room Monday through Friday. What a deal for you. At 6 o'clock. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. Search for the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. For 24 hours a day, that plays repeats of some of our better shows. Then we break in at 6 o'clock for more Men's Room with the Men's Room Happy Hour.
Some of the better ones.
I'm hoping they are, but you never know what the hell they're putting on there. Props coming up from the weekend today on the Men's Room Happy Hour. So if you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. Tons of stuff on that. There's some spooky Halloween channels.
Spooky.
Oh, yeah. You can get into the spirit of Halloween with a couple of the Odyssey stations that do Halloween music. Hell, they even give us our own radio station. So
the hell is Halloween music?
Sometimes it's just the...
So, okay,
yeah,
like Dark
sometimes
Shadows
it's the Psycho theme or, any of that, the Amityville horror theme.
That is a weird playlist to
Exorcist,
put on, yeah.
The Monster Mash would be on there. All of your favorite Halloween-inspired songs are in one location.
Dueling banjos.
It's creepy.
Hey, the theme from Jaws. There's all kinds of stuff you can put on there and
boom, 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 boom.
kind of freak people out. Mike Oldfield or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Oldenfield, whatever.
Tubular bells.
Tubular
Yeah.
bell. I can't say tubular. Tubular, dude.
Tubular bells.
All I could just put in the California. Got a tubular, man.
It's totally tubular, bro.
Men's Room Happy Hour coming up for you at 6 o'clock exclusively on the Odyssey app. Comedian Craig Gass, as we said, it's so much show, I don't know what to do. And today is the day that we do our random question, and the phone line's just pooped out. So if you're on hold, give us a call back there at 206-803.
Let's be honest, Miles. It's too much show.
It is.
You know?
We're going to have to cram it all in.
8 hours of show, we'll cram it in 4 hours. That's what we'll do.
It's like watching a guy drop a pass. He's too open. It's too much show.
Just too open. You were too open.
All right.
Looking at you, UNLV.
Let's start with this one because I know for a fact that we can answer this question in here. Where would you say is the most expensive place that you've ever been? Now, whether this was a hotel room for the night or maybe you went out for a nice dinner someplace.
Is it money that I have spent or just a place that I have been?
Place that you've been, place where you spend money, we're like, man, it's expensive.
I mean, as far as places I've been, and I basically did not spend a dime there, but I had a friend, got married years ago, and I've been through this, but long story short, I did not know that her home was in the Hamptons of New York State. Furthermore, I was unfamiliar with the Hamptons entirely. It's just not something that ever occurred to me, and there's no reason why it would, so I heard, okay, she's up in New York State. Cool. Took a train up there. My buddy picked us up in this beat-up Honda Accord, and we're driving through it. Just the way it looks, you know what I mean? Like there's a highway, and nothing looked particularly exciting. Mm-hmm. And then we had to make this left off of the highway, and we are met by an armed guard at the end of a drive, which I've never had that experience. And there's 3 houses on this driveway. He looks at our IDs, looks down at his manifesto thing or whatever, manifest. He's like, all right, you can go in. I'm like, what the hell? I thought we were going to her house. Like, this is her house. We get there. Look, she lives in the Hamptons, so it speaks for itself. And the only reason she had money is because she was hit by a crane that fell off of the top of a Manhattan skyscraper and landed on her ass. And oddly enough, that day, she was out looking for work. So this crane landed on top of her. They read her last rites 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. Anyway, they thought she was going to die. Sadly, for the state of New York, she didn't die. And she got all that money. So she got, I think it's like 10 or 20 million a year, every year for the rest of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So she went from living in this crammed apartment to buying this place in Hampton. So that's the story she told me. She still walks with a limp because it's all metal now. But I mean, man, I cannot explain how much money is in the Hamptons. And one time we went into town, and I don't know which town it was, but everything there is like Lamborghini, Maserati. Nobody locks their doors. I remember the woman who was a cop was one of the hottest women you've ever seen. She's a cop, no weapons. I didn't have enough money in my ATM account to make a withdrawal. I had like $70 in my account, whatever. The lowest you could take out was $500. And certainly all of us were like, dude, none of us have $500. So we had no cash. Right. And put things on your ratty ass debit card. But like I said, I didn't really spend money. I think we stopped at a CVS and got like a bottle of water or something. But man, I cannot explain how much money these people there, it is obnoxious. And they were decent people. I'll give them that, right? They weren't snooty or anything, at least not to our face, but I've never seen that much money in my life.
I honeymoon went to Hawaii.
That's
when
an expensive place.
When you come from the East Coast, you're told that Hawaii is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive. But relative to where we live on the West Coast, the East Coast is a lot cheaper for the most part. New York, there's other locations that are Hamptons, Connecticut. But went there on the honeymoon, and yes, the hotel was expensive. The flight wasn't nearly as expensive because it was Alaska Direct.
Yeah.
From SeaTac, so it wasn't too crazy. And then when you get there, I didn't really necessarily do grocery shopping. I understand that those type of things could be expensive. But for the most part, it was comparable to Seattle as far as the price. I'll give you an example. My dad was in town a few years back, and he blew up a toilet in my house.
Right.
All of the hardwood in the house bowed. It needed to be sanded. So I had to leave the house. My wife was out of town on work, but I was at home when they were coming to do this job, and I had to leave the house for 2 days.
Yeah.
So I just figured, to hell with it, man. I'll get a hotel room downtown. This is easy enough. I can walk to work. There was some kind of convention downtown. I don't know. The
prices are super high.
You could not get a hotel room in Seattle. And the one I found was like $475 a night. Now, fortunately, insurance was going to cover this, but they covered half the cost.
Right.
And I still tried to explain to them, look, I could not get a hotel. Well, did you try Linwood? No, I didn't try frickin' Linwood because I work downtown. I just wanted a place downtown where I could walk around, get done with work. We used to stay at the Spring Hill Suites. That was an affordable place for a while.
Sure.
That was completely booked. Whatever was going on at the convention center, man, they had a monopoly on the entire weekend in Seattle. I don't know if it was cruise ships. I cannot remember what the hell the deal was.
But you picked the wrong weekend.
I picked the wrong weekend. But I will say this. Most expensive place, probably the Monterey area in California. As far as restaurants, hotel room.
You're 100% right. I just looked it up. I stayed at the Monterey Bay Plaza.
I stayed at the Marriott. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, my buddy, Plaza Hotel and Spa. My buddy got married there, right?
Right.
Couture.
Mm-hmm.
So
I figured that had to be who it was.
So, I'm a single dude. It's just me. So I was like, screw it. I'll just pay the money to actually stay in that hotel. And, and it was... I'm looking at it. I just looked up a room for Friday night. $367.
Okay.
Which by yourself, you're like, man, no.
But it's super nice. I'm super happy I did it. But I forgot dress socks. So I went to the store in that hotel, and I want to say it cost me $50 or $60
for a pair of socks.
Yeah. And they're like Tommy Bahama and had some design on it. Dude, I'm with you. Yeah. I didn't want to buy them. My cousin. They were the only socks.
My cousin did the same thing to me just this past summer. She got married in Asheville, North Carolina.
All right.
That's easy enough. It's North Carolina.
How expensive could it be?
How expensive could it be? Exactly. So the oldest home or the biggest home in the United States is a place called the Biltmore Estate. So that's where this wedding is.
All right.
And it was built by the Vanderbilts in
of course,
early 1900s or late 1800s or whatever the deal was. So I'm just like, all right, well, this will be cool. I looked at a picture of the place. I'm like, the Biltmore. This is a beautiful hotel. Wow.
How much was that?
Wow. $600 a night.
Jesus, man.
I'm like, $600 a night.
Does the concierge give you a mouth hug?
I'm in Asheville, North frickin' Carolina my flight was cheaper than that. You're like, what in the hell's going on in this joint?
That is a beautiful home, though.
It is, and everything was not cheap. That was another one of those places. It wasn't cheap.
I'll tell you, the place I spent the most money, though, was the Bunny Ranch.
Yeah, but that's money well spent.
Yes.
That is money well spent.
I would also say probably the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in, besides that one in Monterey, is the Hotel Hershey in Hershey Park.
You have spoken highly of this place since I've known you. I've never been there.
I'm telling you, man, it is the nicest, I think it's the only 5-star hotel I've been into. Mm-hmm. But it's unreal. The turn down service, the beds, the brunch in the main room. It's unreal. And Hershey Park is very affordable as far as theme parks go.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have all the other stuff. But you stay at Hotel Hershey, it's another level because they have the little shuttle, and the guy's like, which property, where are you going back to? And it's like Hotel Hershey. Oh, very nice.
Oh, yeah. We did stay. I can't remember the name of the hotel. Somewhere in South Beach, and we split it with another couple because we could not afford it by ourselves, and we just stayed there to say we stayed there. We shared a room. We were there one night. That's the hotel where I went into the wrong hotel trying to find. And I cannot remember the name. They had to stay there. It's this great place. Blah blah blah. It was fine, but when we were there, Jay-Z and Beyonce were there to put it in perspective of how much this place cost. So I still do not remember how much our room was. I know we had to split it with someone else. It was one night. It's two couples, one room. But kind of worth it. The reason I bring this place up is it got a little bit more expensive because when you check into this place, the concierge service is, top notch, and they're talking to you in a way that we're not used to. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, cool. I let everyone else settle in the room. Naturally, I go down to make my cocaine connection. Dude got it done in no time. And they're not even, but it's not even like it's subtle where it's like, hey, man, I'm looking, just to have a good time. They know exactly what you're talking about. They use the hotel phone. The guy,
I'm sure.
The guy picks up the hotel phone and basically sets up a drug deal.
They think the town was built on that.
I know, but it's just weird when you're trying to be subtle.
It's like going to West Virginia going, wow, you're a coal miner.
But the guy's like...
It's the same thing.
But he puts his hand over the phone to look at me and how much will you be spending this evening? I'm like, well, $300. Okay.
Where would you guys say the most expensive place to live is in the United States of America?
Major cities or just anywhere?
Major cities.
New York and Boston, L.A.
New York is number 11.
Number 11?
Number 11.
Boston, San Fran.
Yep, San Fran.
Maybe San Diego?
San Diego's number one.
Really?
San Diego was ranked the most expensive city in the nation to live in by the U.S. News and World Report's list. The city landed that title through a lot of metrics, including inflation, cost of gas,
money,
living costs from annual housing costs, median gross rent, high fees associated with home ownership. Yeah, so most of these places are in California. San Diego's the most expensive place to live in the U.S., followed by Los Angeles. Honolulu's number 3. Then Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Santa Barbara, California. San Francisco is 6. Salinas, California is 7. Santa Rosa, California is 8. San Juan, Puerto Rico is 9.
Really?
Seattle comes in, if you're wondering, at number 13 on the list, just behind Boston as the 12th most expensive city to live in. So feel good about that.
You're talking about places that are expensive. Someone there says, me and my wife spent a weekend in downtown Seattle at Hotel 1000, which I've heard great things about. And this is probably why. It was $800 a night. $800 a night. And they have to have a prostitute in the room waiting for you. And then someone else said, somebody skipped over this one that says Disney World.
Oh, you know what? That goes
just spending money. Just spending money.
I tell everybody, I love going to those parks, but like Disney World is beyond expensive.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. And if you're there with kids, man, and that's always my argument with the kids. Obviously, they want to go at some point, and I'm like, hey, if your friends go or relatives that are not named Dad want to take you, I'll pay for you to go. But the problem is, one, just the amount that it costs. Kids are a lot more impatient than adults as far as being able to contain themselves.
Right.
And kids will nag the living piss out of you to get that thing that they think they need. That cheap-ass plastic thing that's worth $3 that Disney's going to charge $80 for, and I just, I can't do it.
If you stay at Disney, too, they'll give you a card that is, I don't know if this happened to me in Atlantis, and they told me this was the Disney model. So I was in Atlantis in the Bahamas with my two
You put
daughters.
everything in the park. If you stay on property, your card, everything's on your card.
Getting in the door.
Yeah.
So my kids, they all had their own card to get in the door.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to go get lunch at the pool, they go over and get, hamburger, hot dog, French fries, whatever, something to drink, some ice cream.
That's not bad.
No, the bill comes at the end.
Yeah.
Dinners, lunch, breakfast. Like, you don't realize what you're doing. And then they give you the receipt at the end, and you're like, holy crime, wow.
I got that on our cruise.
Wow.
It's the same thing.
Wow.
Just me and the wife.
Wow.
And it was all booze. They have like a premium
don't
package.
think I wasn't drinking all day at the pool, too.
But I didn't get the premium pack. I'm like, let's put it on the card. So, we're getting off the boat, man. They hand the bill. My wife mean mugged me because I knew 75% of whatever it is, I peed out.
Right.
I know it's liquor.
Atlanta's known for all its slides and water slides and water parks. All that's on the house.
All right.
So you're not paying for that. I mean, that's just part of the resort.
Being there, yeah.
That's why you think, oh, man, the rides are free. Then you get the end, oh, my God.
Disney World, even just because we always stay on property, just go into the little store in your area. Like a 6-pack of beer is like $30. I mean, it's unbelievable.
More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Random question 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Eric. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random.
Hello, Eric.
Eric. Eric.
All right, let's try Jay. Hello, Jay. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Oh, come on.
Hello, Jay. Hello, Jay.
Jay? Eric?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, person.
What's up, guys?
Is this Jay?
It's Jay.
Jay.
That's me.
Welcome to the program, the random question. All right, Jay, let's do this one.
Let's pull it in, Jay.
If there was an official drink of you, what would the official drink be?
I don't know. I stick with beer. My official drink is beer.
Is it just beer or any kind of beer in particular?
Any kind of beer. Men's Room Red.
Men's Room Red. Fine answer. Now, what would your drink have been, say, before the age of 21? Like when I was a kid, my official drink would have been chocolate milk. Without question, that was my go-to. That's all I ever wanted. And if I couldn't get chocolate milk, I wanted a chocolate milk shake. Like every single time.
I would just say milk in general. I would drink gallons of milk.
Really? You were that kid,
I drank a lot of milk. I also drank a lot of Coca-Cola. That was my special
Did you drink a lot of Coca-Cola?
I drank too much of it.
I drank so many Coca-Colas. That was hard to stop
away
drinking.
from the sodas.
All right. How about an alcoholic beverage? Is there anything other than beer as far as like a drink that you would order at a bar?
If we're going to make you a cocktail, what would be the J cocktail?
Some kind of Long Island.
Okay, so you're going to go for it.
All right, you're swinging for the fence.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Man, mixed drinking stuff. Like I know right now I'm pretty standard at the local watering hole that we go to. A mayonnaise and a shot of Jack.
I like a Pilsner draft.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then probably a shot of Jameson or Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it always. I guess my official drink would be whatever beer, whatever pint, and then you get the complimentary shot of Jack.
Oh,
because that's always with it.
Oh,
I was going to say mine would probably more than likely be Miller Lite.
Sure.
But I feel like if I have a cocktail, I do enjoy an old fashioned.
Mm-hmm. What's in the old fashioned?
Whiskey, bitters, ice.
Okay.
Okay.
Vermouth. I don't know.
I was down on the Oregon coast this weekend. Pro tip: go to the liquor stores there.
Oh, you got to if you're in Oregon.
Oh my God!
The taxes.
Oh my God! I could not believe it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
Last time I was down there, I bought a case of tequila for a buddies. He was like, "Hey, you got to help me out."
Oh yeah, I could not believe it. That's before you come back over, please, whatever you need, stop into a liquor store down there.
If you go
pick it up.
anywhere, we're in New Mexico, and you would not think anyone in New Mexico knows what's going on in Washington, but there's some kind of beer, I can't remember what it's called now, but it was local to New Mexico. Anyway, we tracked it down at Total Wine and More, right? We walk in, real nice guy down there. Hey, welcome to Total Wine and More. We're kind of looking around. We ask him about this beer, and he goes, oh, you must not be from New Mexico. Yeah, it's real popular. We said, yeah. Where are you from? I said, Washington. He goes, man. He goes, buy anything you want down here because it's going to be so much cheaper. Like, our taxes on liquor are notorious.
I didn't even think about it. I was down in, the Portland area doing something this year, and then, it was, you know what? It must have been July 4th weekend. Because it was, the 3rd or something, and I texted a friend. I was like, actually, I'm driving back from Oregon. And he was like, did you leave yet? And I was like, no. What's the rush? And he's like, please stop at a liquor store and get a case of tequila.
Just save the money.
Well, the reason we asked if there was an official drink of you, what would it be? There is a Friday night tradition apparently in Wisconsin. And it does not center on football. Instead, it apparently involves quaffing brandy old fashions, the drink of choice for many Wisconsinites. And it's a libation that may soon become the state's official cocktail. They proposed a bill that would do just that, making the Badger State the third state to make an alcoholic drink their official beverage. Virginia and Alabama, they have chosen whiskey. The paper explains that although an old-fashioned is typically made with bourbon or other whiskey, the grain used for those types of liquors ran dry during World War II.
Okay.
So Wisconsin improvised with brandy instead. So if you're going to order an old-fashioned, you can get it made with either questionable whiskey or really good brandy, according to a cocktail historian. We're not stupid. We chose the brandy. And then our kids started drinking brandy. And then our grandkids. And suddenly, on Friday nights, everybody's drinking brandy. Some Wisconsin versions of the classic cocktail even include garnishes like hard-boiled eggs, pickled vegetables, and cheese curds.
Of course, because that's what
Cheese curds. You
They
gotta
can't
get 'em
just
involved.
not do it.
Yeah.
By the way, somebody here says my official drink would be Rainier Draft and Well Whiskey. I like that. My official drink would be a Manhattan with Crown. My grandmother turned me on to it.
I do like Jack Daniels, but I feel like the last few years, if I order a shot in a bar, it's almost always Jameson now.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't dislike Jameson, but as far as my ability to control myself, it seems to slip away with Jameson a lot faster than Jack. And I don't know why that is. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Eric, welcome to the program. Ran a question. This should be an easy one for you. What to you is just the worst candy? Even if you have more than one, what to you just sucks? You never got it. It's candy. It's supposed to be great, but it's not for you.
I mean, there's so many. It's ridiculous. I mean, certainly black licorice, Necco wafers, we could go on and on. But to me, anything with coconut.
So an almond joy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
All that stuff is just terrible.
Does a York peppermint patty, that doesn't have coconut in it, does it?
No, it's just that weird minty whatever.
Okay.
I'm right there with you, dude. I do not like the coconut stuff. So, like on Halloween, my brother and I did pretty well on our candy trades. You know what I mean? Because he'd hover towards some fruity stuff, which I'm not a big fan of. So if I had gummy crap, I'd give it to him. I get a Snickers bar. Anything with coconut, definitely gave it to him. I get a Kit Kat. Like, to me, this works.
I still stick with Whoppers.
That's the worst?
I'll trade 2 or 3 for 1 for the bad candies. You give me a Twix, I'll give you 3 of the bad stuff.
Also, I don't like the Brock's hard candy that your grandmother used to have out in a bowl. It wasn't necessarily individually wrapped, but just some.
I mean, they were fine.
There was one that tasted like chalk that had the lines.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And I could not understand why anybody.
Shaped like a little pillow.
Why did anyone get those? They were terrible. They did not feel good in your mouth. They take, like you said, it's like somebody ground up mint, mixed it with chalk, made it look like a pillow, and said, "Here, kid."
And I got to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of jelly beans.
I've never been a fan of jelly beans.
I don't like saltwater taffy that much.
See, I like taffy. Jelly beans depends on the flavors.
Just give me red. If I have to have a jelly bean, just make it red, and I can get through.
By the way, today is National Candy Corn Day. The reason we asked you what the worst candy is. And there are some trick-or-treaters that hope you'll celebrate by flushing it down the toilet. A website just conducted a poll where they asked people if they love or hate various Halloween candies. Candy corn did not do the worst. They only asked about the controversial ones, not like Reese's peanut butter cups, which everyone loves. So here is the list from most hated to less hated. 52% of people, the candy they hate the most, Peeps. 52% of people hate them. And yes, their definition of Halloween candy is very broad. So obviously Peeps is more associated with Easter, but
I don't know anyone that eats Peeps. People will paint them, people blow them up in the microwave, people get them wet, people chop off their heads, but I don't know anyone who actually eats them.
45% of people hate Jawbreakers. That comes in at number 2.
I don't
just
hate them.
Like them.
It
It just takes forever.
Right, it takes too long.
It's like Jolly Ranchers. I really like Jolly Ranchers, but man, you got to suck on that candy forever.
How long before you just spit it out?
Sometimes I'll just put it out for a while, put it back in the wrapper, and then try to get back into it.
Dots shows up on the list at number 3, 44%. Is that Dots
Which
the
ones
ice
are
cream,
Dots?
or is it Dots? Is there a separate candy called Dots?
No, remember just the little gummy dots? It's literally DOTS. Dots.
I gotta Google this. I'm not remembering.
You had them.
44% of people hate the Atomic Fireball, which was one of my favorites.
I
used to like it. And I also still like it,
Oh, Dots.
shot of Fireball.
You recognize these.
Oh, God.
Yellow
yes.
box. Yeah, they
Yes,
suck.
yes. Red Hots. 43% of people hate Red Hots, which aren't too far away from the Atomic Fireball. So here's candy corn. 42% of people said that they can't stand it. Another one, hot tamales. Number 7. 41% of people hate those. Here comes jelly beans. 35% of people hate those. As the caller said, Almond Joy. 34% hate them, probably because of the coconut.
Yep.
Lemon heads. I always liked a lemon head.
I love lemon heads.
30% of people hate them. That was one of the few candies that I got if I went to a movie theater, because it seemed like they always had them at the movie theater. Couldn't find them always.
Because you can only get them apparently on Halloween or at the movie theater. Like there's,
It seemed that way.
Even hot tamales, lemon heads, stuff like. For whatever reason, it's only at a movie theater.
I agree with this one. At number 11, Tootsie Rolls.
I hate Tootsie Rolls.
30% of people hate, even if there was like a whole countertop of those out there.
I don't.
I wouldn't even think about.
What are they supposed to
and
taste
I'll eat
like?
anything out in the kitchen, the general area for the most part.
Are Tootsie Rolls supposed to be
taste
chocolate?
anything.
Now you say that with confidence.
What else would they be, man?
Okay,
I mean, they're
brown. but they don't taste. And I've had a million different types of chocolate, right? Unsweetened chocolate, bitter chocolate, milk chocolate, you name it. I've had nothing tastes like a Tootsie Roll.
It is a chocolate-flavored taffy, they say.
All right.
Chocolate flavor.
That makes sense based on the
that
consistency.
explains a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's an oldie but a goodie.
You like Tootsie Rolls?
I do, man.
Really?
They're great.
They're not, though.
Love Tootsie Rolls.
The flavored ones are the best.
I've not had a
Yes.
flavored one, and I used to get pissed as a kid because I love a.
What is your problem with the Tootsie Roll?
Oh, just the taste.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with it.
Otherwise, I have no issue with Tootsie Roll just when it's in my mouth. I don't like it. But as a kid, man, I love Blow Pops. To this day, love Blow Pops. Sour apple, by the way. Tootsie Pops used to piss me
those
off.
were the superior one, man.
And
You
here's
got
the other
cracked down
thing.
with the Blow
because
Pop.
you had like a fruit shell on your sucker, right? And with the Blow Pop, the gum kind of absorbs that flavor, and they work together, right?
Yes, it does.
It does. And the when you get to that Tootsie Roll in the middle of that pop, it tastes so gross.
That's why I like the
whatever-
bubble gum better.
That's what I'm saying. Give me a Blow Pop.
Nickel Nip. Wax bottles. You guys remember
Nickel
them?
Nip?
They had the little juice
Whoa,
inside.
What
yeah.
in the hell?
Those are the wax bottles, right?
Yeah, they had the juice in them. You tear the top. They used to also have lips. That's why they have the lip part of it. Or
The thing
lip
is,
part of it.
they weren't good, but it was fun to do as a kid, so you're still excited.
28% of people hate Smarties. 27% of people hate Mentos. I don't know that I don't know if I've had a Mentos. I remember the commercials.
You never had one?
I don't think so.
They're
It's mint.
okay. I mean, they're fine.
I do enjoy the fruit ones. Mentos.
Okay.
I don't think I had a fruit one.
28% of people hate Cadbury cream eggs. I am right there. I do not like the consistency.
People that like them, though, love them.
Right. I guess
And
they have a
Cadbury-
Halloween version of those now.
Right, Cadbury mini eggs, fire.
100%.
Cream eggs, garbage.
By the way, Cadbury's, as I was looking at the rankings, a lot of these rankings, they had some that were the best-selling candy bars around the world.
All right.
Your guess is as good as mine. And like Toblerone and Cadbury has an actual candy bar.
In England, yeah.
Those are in the top 10.
Yeah.
As far as world sales go. So obviously not that popular here, but around the world they're pretty big. Double Bubble. 27% people hate
Throw 'em
Double
Double
Bubble.
Bubble.
I think Double Bubble's great.
I love Double Bubble.
Laffy Taffy. 26% of people hate Laffy Taffy.
It's okay.
And 26% of people hate Bit-O-Honey. And then
Yeah.
finally on here, Brock's Mellow Cream Pumpkins. 23% of people hate them.
Oh, the marshmallow one?
They taste, I guess, a lot like candy corn, is what it says.
Why would anyone try to recreate the taste of candy?
Yeah.
Just let it be what it is. They're perfect earplugs, but they're terrible candy. Somebody here says, "What about circus peanuts?" I've never liked circus peanuts.
No,
Garbage.
it's back to the chalky little.
I like them.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it a dehydrated marshmallow?
I think so.
Because you know what it is,
Yeah,
man?
because the guy that
It's-
invented
It's Lucky Charms. It's the same thing.
Right, he had, I guess, a bowl of Lucky Charms without the marshmallows, had circus peanuts, put them in, and said, you know what?
He
let's
basically
recreate
put it
this.
into a bowl of Cheerios.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
but
makes
there's,
sense.
man, but here's the thing.
See, that actually has a bad flavor. The Tootsie Roll actually has some good chocolatey flavor.
It
The
is
circus
not
peanut is
chocolate.
just straight bad.
Somebody-
That and candy corn.
Steve is hung like a Tootsie Roll. You're not wrong. Somebody else says, man, that's crazy. I love all these candies. Really?
I do not like
all the candy.
Random.
Oh, yeah, for the record, too, there's a full-size Tootsie Roll.
There is.
Yeah.
It's got, like, little squares you break off.
Yeah.
Exactly like my
You
peanuts.
rip them. You rip them. Yeah,
Too much for one person, Ted.
Drag and pull.
I think maybe it depends on how you were as a kid, too. It's like circus peanuts are that great.
No, they're
when I
not.
was a fat little kid, it's just like, I don't know, it's sugar.
I mean, that's part of it. And like, I was real excited to try them as a kid because they look like something I should like. I thought they were god awful.
The only thing I remember as a kid we could not touch in my grandmother's house was the Milanos.
Yeah. I mean, even with my kids now, like, you can eat Oreos, bro. Do not put your hand in that bag.
Right. I got you eating one of them.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Chris, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one. How old were you when you moved out of your parents' place, and who was happiest about it?
17 and a half and me, clearly, because I got out of there.
All right. Would you, not knowing what the situation was, would you say that when you did move out, that the people in the house were also secretly jumping up and down?
No, it was just me and my dad, and he cried when I left, and that was sad and very endearing. But,
Okay.
He cried when you left?
Yeah, I went off to college, and he was there by himself with his dog, and he almost immediately missed me. So.
Well, sure. I mean, hell, man, when my kids left, that was a tough week for me, man. They both left within the same week. I was like, oh no, and they weren't even living with me. But I was still sad to see him go.
Where'd you go to college?
Portland State.
Portland State. All right, so it's not too far away.
Well, so we're a military family, and at the time we were stationed in Ohio, outside of Dayton, and so I put together this plan my senior year of high school, and he agreed to take time off, drive across the country with me, which was awesome, and help me get set up on campus at Portland State in downtown Portland. But just a very emotional day when he had to fly back because we drove over in my car, and then he took a plane back. So.
What was the biggest adjustment from being in I know that's close to Cincinnati, but still pretty rural Ohio, and then moving to downtown Portland?
Well, the biggest adjustment from moving that part of the country to the Northwest is not sweating until multiple hours of being outside in the summer.
All right.
Whereas in the Midwest, as soon as you step outside, you've got to have like prescription deodorant or you're going to be embarrassed.
Prescription deodorant.
By the way, Portland State, I don't know if you've seen it. They have one of the best hype videos I've seen in a long time for their football team.
Is that where the president dresses up the president of the college?
And she's like, she's deadlifting, she's in the weight room, and then she's like charging the field with the team.
Awesome. Yeah. Reese, we asked, how old were you when you moved out of your parents' place? I was 18.
I was 19.
18 years old. I moved out as soon as I could. I'm sure they were all happy.
I think I was 20.
I mean, clearly I was happy, but I know I cannot dismiss the fact that my parents were probably ecstatic.
I think my parents are kind of ecstatic, and then my mother tells me, your father really misses you. I'm like, the father I grew up with in this house, he misses me. She's like, yeah. I'm like, who would have thought? Now, that said, they also went to Brazil 2 weeks after, or they booked a trip to Brazil 2 weeks after I moved out. And I'm like, dude, I lived here for 19 years. You never thought to go to Brazil. My dad said, do you know how we saved money to go to Brazil? We took the money we stopped spending on your grocery bill. And that got us a
this
flight.
Has gotta be,
and I'm like,
this has got to be generational. The generation that we grew up in, and maybe I'm wrong, it's one thing to drive on a vacation. That was an acceptable thing. We could only go on vacation if we were in a car. My parents, they would do whatever they wanted to and flew everywhere and do their own vacation. So I made it a point to say, look, if I'm doing that, my kids come. Wherever I go on vacation, they're going to learn. They're going to learn to fly. They're going to get in a plane. They're going to check out. They're going to travel. Because I was denied that. So it's almost like canned Coke. It's like I'm never buying a 2-liter bottle of Coke.
Right.
Anytime I can take my kids on vacation, I'm going to take them if they're available and they can do it. That is one thing because it never happened to me.
I have the same general thing, but the only change, like for me, it's the same thing. If the kids were involved, we were stuck in the goddamn car for 15 hours to drive.
Right.
Someplace we didn't feel like going in the first place, but we still lived reasonably close to most of the relatives. Well, my mom's side of things all lived there. But now, living here, like most of the relatives are on the East Coast. So I'm like, we're not driving.
No, don't get me wrong.
Definitely fun.
I had great vacations. We go to Ocean City every year. I love going there. They had rides and boardwalks. If we did go to Florida, we drove.
Right.
We drove for 12, 13 hours. You follow. You basically wake up in your pajamas. They just throw you in the back of the car. They give you a pillow and tell you to go to sleep, but you can't really go to sleep because they're talking up front. You're kind of excited about the fact that you're going someplace fun, but it's just you don't realize it's going to take days to get there.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
I mean, the first time I got on a plane was because we went to see Maryland play at Florida State.
Okay.
But that was just me, my dad, and my brother. But every other vacation, you're exactly right. Like if South Carolina, New Hampshire, Cape Cod, if it was on the Eastern Seaboard, you drove.
My parents we drove from Rochester, New York to L.A., and we did it twice. And the worst part is I remember the first one. So it's like, we're going to see your Aunt Fran. Like, cool. Is she flying here? Because she would fly to see us. Like, nope. We're getting in the car. And I mean, just 3 days and about 16 hours a pop. And my dad was kind of dude, you can't eat in the car. You couldn't draw a smiley face when your breath. I mean, nothing.
Reese, we asked, how old were you when you moved out of your parents' place? An Italian woman has won the right to evict her adult sons, who she calls parasites. They refuse to help out with anything. Chores, expenses. The 75-year-old woman took her sons, aged 42 and 40, to court, saying her attempts to convince the pair to move out were futile. Jesus. In fighting the lawsuit, the men argued Italian law required parents to care for their children as long as necessary. So the judge, he acknowledged the men had a right to live at the home initially due to their obligation of the parent to provide maintenance. But that obligation no longer applied to someone who's 40 and 42 years old. He gave them until December 18th to pack up their things and get out of their mom's house, according to the ruling last Tuesday. More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
When things feel a bit chaotic, Instacart helps deliver milk and sausage. Add a little life to your cart. Get stuff from literally all your stores, from baby wipes to albacore. Add a little life to your cart. Instacart helps get your groceries. Your first 3 deliveries are free.
Download Instacart. Add life to cart. Terms apply.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Comedian Craig Gass coming up on the program. In the meantime, it is our random question 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Joe. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, Bichola.
Hola.
How you doing?
Doing great, Joe. How are you, sir?
I am living the dream.
All right. Okay, Joe, let's go with this one. We've all been in a little fender bender. Why were you involved in a crash? In other words, whose fault was it? Was it the conditions of the roadway? Was it the other driver's fault? Was it your fault?
I've been involved in several crashes.
All right.
One was my fault. I failed to come to a complete stop at an intersection. Another one, well,
wait, what did you hit?
Rear-ended.
Did you hit another car when you failed to come to a complete stop?
I did. They were turning left, and I was going forward, and I was impatient, and I clipped that car.
Okay. All right, what else you got?
Been rear-ended on several occasions.
Several occasions?
Where a car on the freeway wasn't paying attention, and I stopped for stop traffic, and I got rear-ended.
Ah, okay.
Any of these result in a car being totaled?
Oh, no. No. Dings and, yeah. No.
All right. Well, that's not the worst thing in the world.
But just annoying.
Yeah, it is. Because it takes forever to get your car back. I'm trying to think. Last time I was in a car wreck, it was not my fault. A guy turned in front of me, made a left on Ritchie Highway, north of Annapolis, Maryland.
All right.
And I T-boned this guy going about 55 miles an hour in my Nissan Sentra. Nissan Sentra did not have an airbag in it. I hit him in the wheel. He had a monster truck.
All right.
I'm telling you right now, 3 more feet to the left, I had his front right tire. I'd have gone under that thing, and it has sheared the roof off that car.
Would it ripped your head off?
It definitely would have, without question. I got so lucky on that, and all I remember was the ambulance guy. He's like, I'm going to take you into the hospital. I'm like, no, man, I'm good, man, I'm good. I can get home. He's like, dude, how are you going to get home? He's like, your car is totaled, and he's like, your eyes are like, he's like, you're concussed, and I'm like, I'm fine. And then I realized the next day, man, my head was just pounding, and the seatbelt. I felt like my chest had just been, crushed by something. Had a big mark going across it. I definitely hit the wheel with my head, too. So it didn't hold in all the way. So I must have whipped my head because my glasses cut my face open. I was bleeding everywhere.
What year was your Sentra?
That would be a 94.
94. When did they start putting airbags in?
That might have been an 80. That might have been an 89. Yeah, I got another Sentra. So when I crashed that car,
you got another Sentra.
I got another Sentra because they had made it bigger. It was more new
with airbags,
new and improved. I believe that one did have a Sentra, yes, or airbag, yes.
The dumbest one I did, and I'd only been driving for like a year or two, but I was getting off an exit on the Capitol Beltway. Now, this one had a stop sign at the end of it, so you got to, or a yield, whatever. But the other road had a lot of traffic. So the guy in front of me, I'm looking the other way. I'm trying to think if I can slide in both of us to like merge in real quick.
Right.
So I didn't even look at the guy in front of me. I thought for sure he was going. He was not. And just rear-ended him right there. Just punched the gas and hit him. And just like, oh, man, that was
What is his response when you hit him?
It was a woman, and she was just like, I was like, I am so sorry. Like, I that was dumb. Wasn't paying attention. She's like, I just got it a week ago.
Oh, no.
I was like, I feel bad. And then I won't say what insurance I was using. But for a while there, we thought this insurance company was the best in the world because I took all her info, called my insurance company, never heard from her again.
That is good.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if they took care of it or took care of her.
Okay. I just got it a week ago. Okay, you don't have to rub it in. All right.
I know. And she was like, she wasn't even mad. She was just sad.
Right.
That's worse.
I got one of my first cars. I was 16 years old. I just got brand new tires on this car. Stepfather gave me the car, probably had it for no less than a month. I was going down a turn. It was raining. Thought I was fine in this car. Could not even hold the turn at all. Just started sliding into the other lane. Hit this car. It was a brand new Buick Riviera. And
That's
at
what
the time,
you hit.
It was all macked out in leather. This thing was like a Cadillac, but a Buick.
Right.
On the inside. These two guys jumped out, man, and my buddy goes through the windshield of my car. So he's kind of hanging out of the front of the car. And they ran down the road, man, and they to make sure my buddy Jeff was okay because he was seriously hanging out the front of the car.
Oh, Jesus!
My stepfather had bought the car in Germany, and they did not have the same safety standards on the glass.
Aha!
So there was no plastic in the middle of the glass. So basically, the windshield was designed to pop out.
Yeah.
In one whole piece, if that's but he kind of popped it out with his head.
With his face.
Yeah, exactly, because that thing went flying, and he's hanging out. He was okay. He didn't even have like a mark on his face or nothing.
Really?
Nothing. Nothing. Reason we asked, why were you in a crash? A tarantula crossing the road in California's Death Valley National Park caused an accident between international travelers after one of the visitors braked suddenly to avoid hitting the tarantula on the roadway. The accident happened Saturday afternoon along California I-190 east of Town Pass. A Swiss couple was driving a rented camper van.
All right.
They spot the large spider in the roadway. They slam on the brakes, causing a 24-year-old Canadian motorcyclist to crash into the back of their van.
They slammed on the brakes because of a spider?
Yes.
I know it's
That
a tarantula.
seems a little
but,
crazy.
like, come on.
Yes, the ambulance transported the motorcyclist to Desert View Hospital. No update on his condition. The tarantula, however, walked away unscathed from the accident. According to park officials, NPS warned visitors to drive carefully on the roadways, be aware of the environment, but no need to brake.
Just run over the spider.
For a tarantula.
Jesus, man.
Then we have this one as we go to Chicago. And Homewood police are investigating the cause of a hit-and-run crash on Friday morning involving a stolen vehicle and a funeral hearse with a body inside. Police responded to the two-vehicle crash at 183rd Street with a incident involving a stolen Kia and a white Cadillac funeral hearse. The casket had a body inside, and if you're wondering, yes, it was ejected from the hearse. Police said a preliminary investigation indicates the Kia was being driven at a high speed when it collided with a hearse being driven east. Police say 3 people ran from the Kia, but only one was located and taken to a nearby hospital. The driver of the hearse, he was treated by Homewood Fire Department paramedics and taken to the hospital. They did put the body back in the casket and put it back inside the hearse.
Oh, it came all the way out of the casket.
The casket was ejected. The casket opened up. The body fell out of the casket. The casket also slammed into the road.
A couple people chime in here. Says, I got hit by a dump truck that merged into me as I turned, destroyed my Toyota Corolla. Someone else says I've hit a pole, a pedestrian, a car, and a bicycle. Only one was my fault, the one with the car. And somebody here says, one crash I was in was my fault. I was coming down off of MDMA, fell asleep and crashed into the Jersey barrier on I-5. The other accident was not my fault. I was rear-ended at 45 at a stoplight, but they slammed me into a Prius, so that was cool. Oh, and calling the advocates got me over $100,000.
Get out of here.
Boom. Look at that. $100,000, dude.
Okay.
Not bad. I'm trying to think of the last accident I've been in. We had a rock hit the windshield, although I'm pretty sure that was intentional. Actually, the first car accident I was in, we had an old Volkswagen bus, big old brown one with an orange roof and 3 orange stripes on the side. Ugliest thing you've ever seen. We lived in upstate New York. I'm like 9 or 10 years old, but it's at night, and I just hear my father say, "Hold on," right? But real serious. And he starts to pull off the road, and the thing tipped over sideways like the Flintstones credits when he gets his rack of ribs. The thing was, so there was the roads were all icy and snowy. So there was an accident on the road in front of us, but the cops hadn't put out the flares yet. There's no street lights or anything. So he saw that, recognized he's about to plow into it. He just thought we'd pull off the side of the road. Turns out there's a big-ass gully there, but it was covered in snow. So you wouldn't know. So when he pulled off the road, the whole thing went sideways. Now, I will say, my brother generally was better at following directions than I was, which is probably still the case. But when my father said, "Hold on," the way he said it, like you understood the urgency. So I did. And so when the bus turned sideways, I'm still clinging to the back of the driver's seat, right? No big deal. Everyone was fine. But my brother, we turned around, he's just not there. And we realized he'd shot to the other side of the Volkswagen. But just the look of disgust on his face, because I just remember he was on his back and his knees were still kind of up, like from the impact. So he had kind of like roll himself forward and just looked irritated. And for some reason, I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Like, he was fine, but I was like, dude, he said, "Hold on." What did you think he meant when he said, "Hold on"?
We had one of those. I hated that car.
The Volkswagen bus?
Yes.
I loved it, man. And it goes back to what you brought up earlier. We loved, one, I was a little kid, but because we always had to ride in a car to go anywhere, like on vacations, you were never going to get on a plane. And my dad had all of his strict rules with the car, just don't eat anything, don't drink anything, don't even breathe too close to the window because you're fogging up with your damn finger, all this stuff. So when we got the Volkswagen bus, and this is before anyone thought seatbelts were worth anything, and we could physically get up and move around. I had 3 Star Wars characters.
Right, okay.
Hey, man,
there are a couple
this
things
is the
inherently
first
true.
time. The one, I'm not sitting next to my brother. He's now sitting behind me. He has his own seat. I have my own seat. I had a Stormtrooper, R2-D2, and Chewbacca, and I put them in various scenarios. Right. But I could kneel in front of my seat and kind of use that as my landscape. Dude, that thing was a lifesaver.
Well, the thing was, to get out of West Virginia, you have to go over the mountains.
Right.
And the mountains are substantial there.
Yes, they are.
They're not like here, but the road system was not as good then. So there, you're doing switchbacks, you're crawling up steep inclines and everything else, depending on how they could cut the road through the mountains. And the van was water cooled. So you essentially had to pull over every so often, and you had to wait for the radiator to cool down so you could pour more water into the radiator, which was located in the back seat of the damn van.
Yeah.
So that was my job, was to grab the big glove and open that thing. We had gallons of water in the back. I had to pour the water down the engine. It's hotter than God. Air conditioning doesn't work.
It never worked.
The defroster never worked in an old Volkswagen. You could never clear the windshield. I mean, ever. If it was snowy, if it was ice, slick, whatever, you get up there, it's your job to scrape it, but it didn't matter because the inside was still covered in crap.
Oh, yeah.
It just didn't work. That's why you'd see people who had Volkswagen Beetles, they have fans that were mounted on the front of their dashboard, pointed at the inside of the window, just to be able to cut through on, the defrost.
I remember our that same Volkswagen bus that I did love, but we were headed to Texas, Houston, in the summer. Anyway, the air conditioning broke down en route. And once you get to the south part of this country, man, it's not just hot. It is humid. It is sticky.
It's gross.
And people's moods start to change. So my brother and I, for the most part, you're tuning out your parents as you do when you're a kid. And then we realized, man, it just feels kind of intense in here. You're not quite sure what's going on. They're trying to keep it low. And all I could hear my mother say was, and I'm going to tell you this one last time, Robert. This is my mom speaking, and she's hoping we're not listening. You can get this effing air conditioner fixed. You can drop me the F off right here on the side of the road, or buy me an effing plane ticket home. We heard that much, and we realized, okay. My brother and I looked at each other and said, whatever you do, do not bring up that you were hot. Clearly, this is being addressed. And so we're cracking our window. And we were so hot, man. We were so miserable. We just knew after hearing my mother. So we pulled to some little crappy repair shop or something in Texarkana. That is on the border of Arkansas and Texas. And it's as beautiful as it sounds. So we're in Texarkana, and we had to spend the night there so that they could fix the air conditioning so that my mother did not murder and or divorce my father. But I remember staying in this ratty-ass hotel in Texarkana. My parents were trying to put a positive spin. You know what they call it, Texarkana? Because it's right next to Texas, but it's in Arkansas. And we're like, do not care. This place is awful. But look, man, if you're going to take your kids on that long-ass road trip, try to drive them at least where the landscape is kind of decent, right? So if we have to do a long drive through Pennsylvania, everyone in the car hates it because Pennsylvania looks like everywhere else on earth.
Not only that, but it's slow because the turnpike hasn't been done.
They refuse to finish their highways.
Yeah, PennDOT's terrible.
We had them in New Mexico in April. They loved it. All these deserts and these sheer mountains, right? The landscape looked different enough that the kids, for once in a 5-hour, 6-hour car ride, did not complain about it once, which is unbelievable for any kid. But my mom, she'd always try to get us excited. Now, keep in mind, at this time, we lived in upstate New York. We lived out in the woods. If you went across the street, there's a guy that owned a farm. So when we were going through Kansas and we're dead bored, my mom's trying to get us excited, like, hey, guys, look at all the cows. Brother and I like, we can go across the street and see that.
Right.
This sucks. There is no positive spin. I hated Kansas. I hated Nebraska. And even though I'm an adult now, in my mind, those states only get in the way of you getting somewhere that you want to be.
Right.
That's always, like, we're not going to stop again.
Funny.
You're just in the way of us getting somewhere.
And the difference between how we traveled, we had maybe like a little Coleco handheld football game that we could
little
play,
red dots,
but you couldn't mute it. So it
was loud.
Your parents would get mad because it was like they're trying to listen to music or just concentrating. You're deep.
Right.
So they hated that thing. But I bought a used SUV, and the previous owner had done just about everything as far as tricking the car out.
Okay.
They had gone to Car Toys. They had got DVD screens for the back of the headrest.
Right. All right.
So the kids could either play games or watch movies in the back.
With headphones.
That was all fine and dandy. No. You could use headphones, but for whatever reason, the headphones, this is the way the system worked because it was kind of antiquated. It was the initial thing. Instead of using Bluetooth to connect the DVD player and the screens to the car, it worked on a radio frequency channel.
You got to be kidding me.
So you turned that's how it worked. It connected to the radio. It sent out a radio signal. And then, say like 88.3.
Right.
It was somewhere way down the
Yeah.
like in the NPR world. It was down there. And so you had to turn in to that channel, and then whatever DVD they were watching, that would broadcast the audio. So we would be in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nowhere. You could not get a station that was just not either country music or Spanish.
Sure.
It was like numero uno.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing on the dial, right? But there was always something on that channel on public radio. So we get into an area. And
so you couldn't use your DVD?
Oh, it'd just be blasting classical jazz, whatever, big band crap. And they would get oh man, can you just turn them off? Like, no, man. No,
sorry.
That's where they are. So they'd be in the middle of watching the movie, and all of a sudden you'd start hearing some, I don't know, Hank Mobley.
Just interrupt their movie.
Just go straight into jazz. Oh man, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look, you have something.
Right, you have something.
You have something.
To shut up.
It's still the screens. You've seen this movie 9 million times. You can recite Shrek.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you know what's going on. We'll get out of this in a minute. They get so pissed off.
It's amazing what kids get mad about.
I feel like every Christmas I got a new, one of those games, the handheld games.
Yeah.
So for about 2 weeks, I'm sure it annoyed the crap out of our parents because we would just play them nonstop, especially on Christmas Day. But I don't know if we broke them. I feel like they only lasted a short amount of time.
They're a temporary gift. Yeah, you got maybe 3 months out of them.
Right, like when we got a Nintendo, we had that Nintendo for years.
Right.
Sure.
I had a basketball game, I had a football game, and one other, maybe baseball. And I was like, I am set. And then that Christmas, they came out with head-to-head, which meant you could play your buddy. Right. It was like another side to it. And then everybody came after Christmas with that game. And I was like, oh, man, I got to upgrade. My parents like, you need to wait till next Christmas. I'm like,
yeah, that's how it works.
Year, man. More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com, and screen it like you mean it.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Coastal's biggest deals of the year are here. Country Companion poultry feed is buy two, get one free, and all large pet food bags are buy one, get one 50% off. Take 15% off all in-stock regular price grills and grilling pellets, or buy two, get one free.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Shop Coastal's Black Friday sale now and save on all your gifts and essentials.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Cut out the categories: horror movies and Candyman. Horror. What about horror movies?
Horror movies.
In the meantime, it is a random question. Question 206-803-ROCK.
Sometimes I feel like anybody that's too into Halloween and horror stuff is a bit of a whore.
A bit of a whore?
Yeah. Like, Halloween's my favorite, like, holiday. And I'm like, Yeah, I know you.
They love the excitement, Ted.
Yeah, it's not wholesome like Christmas, you degenerate. No, look, you look good.
You look great. Yeah. I'm going to be a slutty, fill in the blank. Yeah. Nurse, nun, bridesmaid, whatever. You're like, right, I get it. You own fishnet stockings, you like to show your boobs. And I like it when you do that. So happy Halloween.
Yeah, what did I see this weekend that caught me off guard? It was like a sexy, slutty minion.
How did they pull this off successfully? What,
Yeah.
sexy? What are you going to Google? What are you going to Google? Sexy minion?
Yeah.
You might just want to let corporate know, hey, man, work-related.
Work-related corporate. It's work-related.
I'm just saying, I was like,
Sexy.
oh, that minion's kind of hot.
All right, let me see. The sexy minion.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
well,
different.
Yeah. I mean, yes. All right.
You're just not going to understand what she says in the bedroom.
I will. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
You thought I was listening.
Liquor and whores.
Oh, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's go with this one. Have you ever hooked up with a coworker before? In any job you've ever had?
We weren't working together anymore, but yeah.
So former coworker.
Right. No, I take that back. I did.
You did. All right. What type of industry were you working in?
The one I worked with, their construction.
Okay. So I know in the restaurant world, people hook up left and right, which makes a whole lot of sense. Based on TV,
the one
apparently.
after was the restaurant world.
Oh, dude, if you work in a restaurant, just assume you're going to sleep with everyone there. Maybe not in the time that you work there, but by the time you're done being a cook or in the wait staff, you will have slept with everyone. That's why you should treat them well, because you're going to work with them again. Oh, yeah. Like, oh, my God, I slept with her. And everyone in the kitchen's like, we all did. Like,
that was some advice I gave my younger nephew when he was looking for work after high school. I said, you go around to places with your buddies, you find the establishment that has the most attractive women, you put an application in there, because if you spend 8 hours with them and they complain about their boyfriend, you're in.
Did he thank you for that advice?
Not bad advice there, Uncle.
He didn't use it. He went a different route, but he's doing good.
Okay. All right.
Nah, he's still an idiot. He should have listened to you.
Reese, we asked you ever hooked up with a coworker.
What about you? You ever hooked up with a coworker?
Yes.
Trying to think about it. I know I have in the restaurant business. Since I've been in
might have married two.
Good point.
Was the first one?
We worked at a radio station together.
Oh,
really? I didn't realize that's where you met.
But she was also a waitress.
You just have a type. Like, I knew looks there was a type.
Right.
I didn't realize they both
Profession.
worked with you, too.
Oh, yeah. I'm a moron.
Well, I'm just...
Oh, look at me. I'm an idiot.
I think it's okay to tell this story now. We'll see with Miles' reaction. But the first time, like, this is years ago in Baltimore, right? So I obviously I knew Miles' girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we went to pick up his kids before he dropped me off. And it didn't even really dawn on me, but there was his ex-wife, and he gets in the car, and he goes, not a word. I go, what? I don't need to hear it that she looks like they look a lot alike. I was like, all right, I won't say it.
I just saw a look on Ted's face. I'm like, I know.
It's just like you hear the door.
I'm not comfortable with this either.
Not a word.
I'm not comfortable with this. Me neither.
Well, Ted, you kind of have a type, too. If you're blonde and have big boobs, because remember that right before we moved here, we
worked
with
with
sales
her.
chick, and what's funny, and she was pretty cool, man. I mean, she was
Very
sloppy,
cool.
liked to party, all that kind of thing. And so you two were hooking up, but I remember Ted came up to us, goes, all right, man, look, we're going to Seattle. Like, yeah, man, 2-3 weeks, whatever, we're headed out there. And you're still hooking up with this chick. And you're like, since I'm not going to see her again, should I ask for butt stuff? We're like, do you remember that?
Yeah,
we were like,
sure.
dude, absolutely. Sure. I mean, you might as well.
A new survey has found that 43% of workers admit to having an affair with a colleague at work at some point in their lives. Almost half.
I mean,
Isn't it an affair if we're both single?
No, this is an affair.
Oh.
With a colleague at work. 43%.
Damn.
25% said it happened in the workplace. 21% said it happened during work events.
Sure.
They said it happened digitally through calls, texting, social media.
Digitally. Here's a picture of my penis.
Yes.
It wasn't me. It was AI Ted.
17% said it went down at meetings outside of work. 14% took advantage of work trips away. They also compiled lists of the professions most and least likely to cheat with a coworker.
Ooh.
The 10 most likely professions to cheat with a coworker.
All right, let me see if I can guess here. I'm going to guess, and again, I just base this on TV. Doctors.
Doctors not on the top 10. No.
Did we say bars and restaurants?
Well, healthcare is number 3.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's fair. Now, that encompasses everything.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
pretty
going to
high.
go ahead and say.
Nighttime nurses.
What'd you say, Ted?
Restaurant, like bars, servers.
Hospitality and events management comes in at number 5. So here are the professions most
Think about it,
likely
if you
to...
work at a hotel, right? There's beds everywhere. You know the rooms are going to be empty. You can shout. I mean, my God, I would take advantage of that.
So number 10 is the armed forces. That comes in the 10th most likely profession to cheat.
Hey, Bill. We better, listen, man.
Looking good. Number 9 is IT.
Really?
Yep. 8, accountants.
You know what? Go for it, guys. Most of the IT guys I know, like if you can get some, go ahead and, just whatever.
Accountants, banking, and finance.
Oh,
That's
my
number 8.
software's turned into hardware.
Property and construction come in at number 7.
The guy just called, yeah.
Engineering and manufacturing at number 6. Hospitality and events management. Transport and logistics, number 4.
Really?
On the profession most
Uber
likely to
drivers.
cheat.
Yeah, logistics.
Healthcare 3. Teacher, number 2.
Really?
Yep. Teacher is the second most likely profession to cheat. Number 1, with irregular work hours and frequent network events, that would be sales.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Sales.
come on.
The profession that is least likely to cheat at work. Number 10 on the list, believe it or not, retail.
Sure.
All right.
Number 9, public service and administration. Now we start to get boring, sort of. Number 8, marketing, advertising, PR. Number 7, environment and agriculture.
There's just not a whole lot of other coworkers around you with some of these.
Law and legal, number 6. Guys, you'll be happy to know the media comes in at number 5.
Yeah!
Creative arts and design at 4. Law enforcement and security at number 3. Business consulting and management, also the least likely. The number 1 field to least likely cheat. Science and pharmaceuticals.
Okay. Probably because I can't pick up anyone.
Pharmaceuticals, like working at the pharmacy or like selling drugs?
I would say either one, but that doesn't make any sense selling drugs because I know better.
I picked up a prescription last week, man. I asked the guy how he was doing. He's like, good. He's like, I'm just getting ready for this vacation. I was like, oh yeah, where are you going? He's like, New Zealand. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, you should be pumped. Like, it just kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah. That's a serious vacation, man.
Yeah.
Somebody here says, my ex was a nurse and a whore. I was in the Army. Those women are loose AF. Let's see.
I mean, sorry to that guy, but that sounds like a movie plot, right? Like, he's in the service, she's a nurse. Like, oh, I'm shocked she cheated.
I've been driving an Uber for almost 7 years, and I've never been propositioned by a passenger, and I'm a goddamn good-looking man. Well, if you pick me up, I'll hit on you, bud.
I was just thinking that, like, oh, is that you? I don't know, Michael? Hey, man, it's me. Do you want a mouth hug?
Now, what if he says yes and pulls over?
My rating's going to go down. Passenger lied about mouth hug. 0 stars.
It doesn't work that way for my Ubers. My Ubers are, I look at the name and go, how in the hell do I pronounce it?
I can't say.
I'm not sure. Is it? Yeah, no, I don't know.
That's when the window rolls down and goes, is this for Mike?
Yeah.
I don't confirm their name. I confirm mine.
I was like, because my wife's and mine are attached. Her name is very obviously for a female. But it'll still say, are you blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I'll let you guess which one. I mean, yes, I'm one of those two people. Just take a stab at it.
I've had, there's one guy, like, up in our neck of the woods. I've had him a couple times. Michael. I was like, hey, man, how you been? And you know me. I know way too much about him.
Yeah, of course.
He's from North Carolina.
Yeah. Do you give him good ratings?
He's a Duke fan. Oh, 5-star.
He said he's a Duke fan. I'd be like 4. Sorry, bro.
Wouldn't you be curious to see the notes that they leave for you? Like, I mean, not as bad thing. Nice guy, chatty. Whatever.
Oh, right.
I was convinced for a while that somebody noted on mine Arsenal. Because, like, if I started talking soccer with any of the African dudes, I'd always be like, I'm always like, well, who's your club? And they'd be like, Arsenal. And I'm like, great, that's the right answer.
They'd probably leave that note. Hello, Candy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, I love Halloween.
Hola, okay.
Oh, and your name's Candy.
Let me guess. Yeah.
All right, Candy, we'll give you a Halloween question. How old were you the last time that you went trick-or-treating?
Oh, probably 45.
45?
You went trick-or-treating at 45?
Well, I was with kids, but I maybe put my bag out, too.
Okay, wait a minute. You went with a bag?
Well, kind of, yeah.
I mean, I'll be with my kids tomorrow night, but I'm not bringing a bag with me. First of all, I can steal it directly from my children.
Right, and you can also buy it.
And I can do that. Damn, you went out with a bag, Ken. Were you dressed up at least?
Yes, oh yes, definitely.
And what were you dressed as?
The Route 66 little outfit and a hat.
All right. When was the last, even if it's just for a party, what was the last thing you dressed up for Halloween?
Oh, as a witch.
Okay.
Yep.
Were you a nice witch or were you a mean witch?
Sexy witch.
Sexy.
Is everything sexy? I'm gonna be a sexy zombie. You know, I mean, you could dress up as a turd, and it's like I'm gonna be a sexy turd. It doesn't matter. Women always do I'm going to be a sexy blank.
I always think of witches as being kind of sexy, but I think that's just because of Elvira.
Yes. But is she supposed to be a witch or just someone who's like really into that stuff? Like I always picture Wicked
What is she,
Witch
Mistress of the Dark?
Mistress of the Night or Dark?
Dark,
One of the
something
two.
like that. Yeah.
To me, she was like a big, busty, grown-up version of Wednesday Addams. Like I really gel on the stuff because when I think witch, it's always Wicked Witch of the West, and like I'm sure somebody out there finds her sexy. I'm not that guy.
Yeah, she's a redhead naturally.
Who is? Oh, Elvira.
Cassandra.
Cassandra.
She still looks great. She really does. I mean, she's probably in her 70s. I
always liked her.
She's
Look,
been married
I've never
to the same
liked
woman
her
for
face.
like 25 years.
I always liked her boobs. Yeah. Right, so even as a kid when she did it, like I liked who she was. I love looking at her boobs, but her face never did it for me.
I'm with Miles. That's still a pretty sexy woman.
She still got it, man.
Yeah, she does.
Still got it.
I mean, for her age.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Reason we asked how old were you the last time you went trick-or-treating?
Fortunately, she doesn't care about us.
Or what did you dress up as for? No, she's been married to the same woman for like 25 years, I think. They've been together forever. As they say, Halloween is almost here, and the debate is here again. How old is too old to go trick-or-treating? Now, while it's generally agreed that nobody should still be asking door-to-door for candy when they hit their 20s, Candy, there's no consensus on the cutoff point for teenagers. Some towns still ban older teenagers, believe it or not, for trick-or-treating, including Bellevue, Illinois, where a city law states that it is unlawful for any person to appear on the streets, highways, public homes, private homes, public places in the city to make trick-or-treat visitations unless they are in the 8th grade or below.
I mean, come on, man.
Now, other cities and towns put the age limit at 12, 13, or 14, and curfews are also common, with Bellevue putting the time limit at 8:30 in the evening. In Chesapeake, in Virginia, the age limit on trick-or-treaters, a law dating from the 70s, used to threaten them. Anybody over 12 would get 6 months in jail. Now, in 2019...
13, I went trick-or-treating.
After the law was mocked by late-night talk show hosts, the city raised that to 14 and removed the threat of jail time, noting that nobody was ever arrested under the law.
They raised it to 14.
In Portsmouth,
way to loosen up.
Virginia, the age limit is still 12. Police say an age limit helps stop teenagers causing disturbances and also taking all of the candy.
I get taking the candy, but as a teenager, if you want to cause a disturbance, you're just going to cause a disturbance.
I feel like 13 was the cutoff, though.
I mean, I just feel like as a human being, around 13, you're like, You know, and different opportunities pop up on Halloween nights. You know, you get buddies now like, hey, a bunch of people are coming over.
And you still want to eat some candy, but I also feel like you're kind of like, I don't know. It's like, well, I'm not a little kid. I'm not going trick-or-treating.
Right. Yeah, at that age.
Then a woman named Karen from Seattle here. She's got 4 teens. And she says in the article she doesn't have a problem with teens growing up in a very uncertain world, trying to recapture some of that magic of childhood. When I see teenagers on my porch, I see big, awkward babies who act tough yet still need the love of a mom. Opening the door and smiling is an easy chance to do this. I hope I never get so jaded that I forget to do this. Now, her 17-year-old son, Brady, he brings the facts. He says if we're not old enough to vote, if we're not old enough to drink, then we're still young enough to trick-or-treat.
All right. I like his logic.
I do, too.
Hello, Dylan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
I don't like giving candy to a trick-or-treater that's taller than me. That's the issue with, like, teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you look cute, too.
Right.
Dylan. Right. All right, since you brought up going to the pharmacy the other day and getting some prescription medication, let's go with this one for you, Dylan. Do you take any prescription medication, or have you ever in your lifetime taken some kind of a prescription medication?
I take a handful of blood pressure meds every morning.
Okay. Are they prescription?
Oh, yeah.
And you have to take how many?
I take 3.
And does it seem to work, that combination? I mean, could one not do the trick?
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
My blood pressure is through the roof at all times.
How long have you known that you had high blood pressure?
Oh, it's been that way for, I'd say probably 6 or 7 years.
Is there anything that you can do naturally to try to bring that down as far as what they tell you should do?
Well, I mean, if I quit smoking cigarettes and quit drinking, maybe.
Okay, all right. Well,
I like it. If
maybe,
yeah.
Sure. Both are hard to give up. That's fact. Okay.
It's fun, man. You got to live life on the edge a little bit.
Okay. And how many years you been doing this?
What? Smoking cigarettes and drinking, or high blood pressure?
Taking the medication.
Oh, I've been on the meds they switch them up. They're trying to find a cocktail that works, so they switch it up every couple of months, but I've been taking them for about 4 years now.
How old are you?
I am 38.
38.
All right. Yeah.
Well,
I think when I was like 40, I guess like around 40, they were like, all right. You keep trying, but you're not lowering it like we want. So
here's some pills.
Here's a pill.
The worst one, man, was getting that big jug of crap for my colonoscopy. When the pharmacist handed me that, and I saw the size of the thing, I'm like, oh, no, not again. Lemon flavored my ass. There's no lemon flavoring in that packet. It's absolutely horrible. The reason we asked you to take any prescription medication. A 23-year-old in Florida is facing several charges after he used a very detailed note to rob a Florida CVS pharmacy of various drugs. According to the Orlando Police Department, officers were called to the CVS around 6 o'clock in the evening on reports of a robbery. Pharmacy employees told police the suspect, identified as Thomas Muse, who was 23, handed them a note indicating he had a gun and would shoot them if he was not provided the pills listed.
Do you have to add, and I will shoot you? I just assume if you're handing me a note that points out that you have a gun and then you're making a request, the reason you pointed out you had the gun is so that I know you're willing to shoot me. Not like I have a gun. Oh, and also I will shoot you.
The note read, "This is an armed robbery. Please cooperate. I don't want to hurt you. You are not to alarm anyone or I will shoot the closest person to me. Please follow these directions or I will shoot the closest person to me."
I'd have been like, Gary, come here for a second.
Muse demanded pharmacy workers give him various amounts of any guesses on the drugs that he wanted. He had a handful of them.
The ones he wanted.
23 years old. He wanted to get some drugs.
So I'm guessing he is going to like the actual pharmacy desk in the back.
Xanax is number 3 on the list. That is correct, Ted.
All right.
He wants some Xanax, yes. Oxy's number 1. That was his number 1 choice. Oxycodone.
Allopurinol.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's for the gout.
All right. What else did he get?
We got Oxys, we got
Vicodin?
Xanax. Ooh, Vicodin, good call.
Vicodin, no. No Vicodin on the list.
I was going to say
Percocet's not on the list.
Really?
Nope.
Huh. Oh, what's the really decent one that helps people?
The really decent
one?
I like that, yeah.
Adderall?
No.
That's number 4.
Adderall.
Liquid codeine comes in at number 5 on his list.
Okay.
Oh, did he buy Sprite?
Viagra, number 6 on the list for him.
Viagra. Okay.
And hydrocodone. He wanted oxycodone, hydrocodone, Xanax, Adderall, liquid codeine, and Viagra. An officer arrived on the scene. He was seen walking out the store, and after a short-foot pursuit, he was arrested while still holding on to the stolen narcotics and his note. They arrested him. He also confessed to another similar robbery in Central Florida for no reason. He admitted to traveling to Orlando from Jacksonville to carry out the plan and also confessed to another similar robbery in Central Florida. He's now facing several robbery, trafficking, and possession charges, according to the Orlando Police Department. Coming up next, we've got your emails on the way from the men's room at KISW.com.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
As the energy transition drives renewed interest in clean nuclear energy, uranium may be an investment opportunity. Learn how you can turn this in-demand critical mineral into a powerful part of your portfolio. Visit SprottETFs.com for disclosure and prospectus information and to learn more.
On Instacart, I can shop a huge selection of pet supplies, from that one brush that scratches him just right, to that extra comfy bed he can't wait to flop down in. And I get everything delivered right to my door in as fast as 1 hour. Okay, settle down. I know it's here. Yes, very exciting. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get a free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Instacart. Add life to cart.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All right, comedian Craig Gass on the way, but first time for a few me emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
Jump right in the birthdays, guys. My daughter Haley turned 17 today. She is the best daughter a dad could ever hope for. Could Coach Ted hype her up about becoming her upcoming geography exam on the West African country of the Gambia? Don't worry, I've never heard of it either. And since she could not decide on anything else, I might play whatever you want there. Lots of love from Aaron in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow, kind of helps that Coach knows a thing or two about about West Africa.
Never shuts up about it.
It's just he's talking all the time. Here's the main thing you got to remember, all right? Gambia. Sure, it's sitting right there on the coast, but what's its hat? Senegal. And Guinea underneath.
It almost sounds like an insult.
Guys,
I think like Guinea.
Yeah. I know. Just saying.
Guys, my son Tevin listens to your show every day. His birthday is today. It would mean so much for you gentlemen to mention that his birthday is today. He's 28 years old. Oh, thanks so much, guys. That from David. Dealer's choice there, Mike. Whatever you want to give.
What's his name?
Devin.
Yeah.
Devin.
Guys, I want to give my wife Amy a big happy birthday. Could you please give her an Alan Thicke lookout, a cat giving birth, and the Dirty Germans telling her what they would do to her tonight? Thanks, guys. That from Chris.
Uh-oh, look out.
Let's see if I've got that. That's the one.
Yep, no, the other one.
Here we go. I found the damn thing.
Yeah, tonight we're going to make your face sticky.
Jeez. Yeah, the funny part is he writes in about this Amy, like was quite familiar with her. I guess we'll try something new this year, Amy.
Yeah. Guys, please wish my brother Andy a very happy birthday. He is 44 years old. We've been close, but I haven't seen him much past couple of years, so let him know that I miss him and I love him and hope this shows him how special he is. How about some turtle sex? Some jokes from Miles. Maybe the Dirty Germans can give his girlfriend April some ideas of what he wants for his birthday. Thanks, guys. That from the best older sister ever, Jessica. All right, I'll give you a couple dad jokes. Why didn't the ghost dance at the party?
Why didn't the ghost dance at the party?
He had no body to dance with.
All right.
What do ghosts do when they get in a car?
What do ghosts do when they get in the car?
They fasten their sheet belts. And what brand of underwear do mummies wear?
Fruit of the Loom?
Fruit of the Tomb. So close. I'll give you two more. Since they're Halloween jokes and they're going to be timely. Why don't mummies like to go on vacation?
I don't know, Miles.
They're afraid to unwind. And what's a vampire's favorite fruit?
Blood orange.
Nectarines. Close.
Yeah, you said her name is April, so tonight April showers will bring semen flowers.
Yeah, for a change, maybe this won't just be for genetically mutated men around her.
Yeah, but that's just what she likes.
Oh, she still lives in the sewer.
Guys, birthday wishes to my daughter Simone. She's 46. She saved my life by giving me a life of motherhood and grandmotherhood.
Did Michael Jackson name her?
Simone.
Her inner soul gives her a beauty notwithstanding by her physical beauty. I love her first, more than always. Thank you, sweetheart. That from your mom, Jackie. Could we get a big old bong hit and a thanks next caller? Love y'all. See you at the prom.
I don't think it's thanks next caller.
Yeah.
Give it a listen to see if that's what you hear.
Cut that bitch off. Next call.
It sounds like thanks.
Buddy Andrew's 54th birthday again. How about a fart for the man who once claimed he doesn't, and the dirty German since he loves all things German? Thanks, guys. Appreciated that from Barry.
Yeah, if you like all things German, then tonight you can sample black bloodwurst.
Yeah. It's the verse most German thing we'll do is everybody in the studio. We have an extra guest here today, but we'll all be watching from the back.
Yeah.
And finally, guys, I want to give a birthday shout out to my future mother-in-law, Kay. She's 69 years old today.
Nice.
Spending her birthday in Vegas.
Yeah.
Coach Ted giving her some advice.
Oh, yeah.
On how to enjoy her 69th birthday.
You know how.
In Vegas.
It's in the number.
Much love from Jolene and James.
All right, what's her name?
Her name is Kay.
I just said that.
Kay, you sexy old bat. All right, let's start with this. It's your 69th birthday, so you have two things to do. Enjoy yourself and give pleasure.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
BG.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Bob, and Craig Gass in the studio. How are you, sir? It's been a long time.
I'm doing great. I'm excited. In all the years I've been listening to this show and even getting my start here at the station, I've never been in the studio with you guys, so I'm excited to be here.
This is the first time you've ever been in the studio with us.
With you guys.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we used to lock the doors and tell them
I
not to
thought
come
we said
in.
we had a no Craig Gass rule.
It's in our contract, for God's sake.
How have you, man, we haven't seen you in a long time. What's news? I know you're a world traveler. Anytime I see you on social media, you're always hopping from town to town doing the tour and stuff. What's been going on?
I just flew in from a KISS concert. I had my wristband. I was at a KISS concert in Austin, Texas last night. I am doing a very unique comedy show this Sunday. I haven't done a show here in Seattle in 4 years since I did a show. I did a couple of nights at Clearwater Casino. This Sunday at the brand new Comedy Bar in Capitol Hill, I am going to do a show the night before KISS does their final show ever in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a 1-hour show where I'm just going to make fun of KISS for an hour. It's
The
just,
entire time.
The whole show is just making fun of KISS.
But they make it easy. And listen, I'm going to the show. I'm going to the show.
I'm going to try. I'm getting off a plane.
I got you a ticket. So it's there if you need it. Plan on going to the show, grew up a KISS, all these things. They are very easy to make fun of. Like, I will always protect. It's like busting down your own sibling.
Yes.
Like, you can't crack that joke. I can, because I actually do respect them. But my God, there's so much fodder. That said, how was the show? Because a lot of, as these guys get old, and these guys are legitimately old now, you know what I mean? They're in 70s, wearing all that stuff, acting the fool.
What's that,
my mom
30,
would say.
40 pounds
But,
worth of crap on?
How did
Yes.
their voices sound?
They sound amazing.
Really?
They sound incredible. And I did notice right before he went on stage, Gene was just sitting quietly outside his dressing room door, and he wasn't talking. George Lopez was standing in the hallway, and George goes, did you see Craig? Did you talk to Gene? I go, I don't want to bother him. And he goes, Gene, look who's here. It's Craig Gass. And I go, hey, man, I don't want to bother you, buddy. And he goes, come here. Come here. And then he stood up, and he hugged me, and he patted my head and said, you're a good boy.
Jesus. Full makeup?
That's years and dude.
In full makeup?
In full makeup. I
Okay.
have a history with that guy.
Yeah.
So, and it's weird because it all ties into KISW. I started working on the morning show at KISW 30 years ago. I started working with Bob Rivers.
Bob Rivers?
It was Bob Rivers, and that was Bob's. I would do voices on Bob's show, and then years later, I moved to New York, and I ended up on the Howard Stern show. Howard Stern ends up being the morning guy here at KISW,
Yep. Right.
and I'm doing voices again. At that point, I am doing some dark stuff. I remember at that time, I was doing this piece. Oh man, this is really dark. I did this impression that every time a bad person died, someone we could all agree.
Okay.
Like, we would all be on the same page. That's a bad guy. Like,
You can tell it's 2023 because now we have to caveat. We all agree. Back in the day, you look after that guy.
All right. So, for example, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Sure.
That we can all agree, not a good person. And when he died, I think I was the only person on planet Earth getting a pen out, writing jokes. And the next morning, I would call in as Sam Kinison, calling live from the gates of hell with Jeffrey Dahmer. Hey, guys, this is Jeffrey Dahmer. No, I'm sorry, this is Sam Kinison. I'm down here at the gates of hell giving you a live report where Jeffrey Dahmer has just shown up. And this guy's already looking at my ass like it's a T-bone! Oh! It was really, really dark. And then I started doing this impression of Gene Simmons. And it didn't really go anywhere. And we'd have meetings about how do we, it's a good impression, but what do we do with this impression? And then it started becoming this thing that every time we'd have a music guest in the studio, I would constantly interrupt the music guests as Gene Simmons and try to sell them crappy KISS products.
Okay, like Lunchbox.
Right. Lunchbox and stuff. In fact, George Lopez said that when he was coming into the building, there were people wearing Craig Gass Sucks T-shirts, which is at my show, and Gene was telling George about, the first time I heard about this guy, my neighbor was Suzanne Summers, and she got upset because she was on the radio talking about, I've been dealing with these serious issues, and I beat it, and at the time she's getting ahead of cancer, and she said, and then all of a sudden they said, hey, we have somebody who wants to talk to you. It's Gene Simmons from KISS, and I said, hi, Suzanne, this is Gene Simmons
From KISS, I am so moved by your story. I want to offer you a KISS lunch pail for $49.95.
And I tried to sell it. And I didn't know this. She was me. I don't know what you're talking about. And then this crazy thing started where I was interrupting all the music guests. And then we get one day, our producer walks in the room and says, "Hey guys, we got a problem. Everybody stop, we got a problem. Gene Simmons just walked in the building. He wants to beat the hell out of Craig right now." And I went, "He's here." I go, "Wait a minute, we're not going to let him up here though, right? We're not going to, Gary, we're not going to let him up to the floor though, right?" And he goes, "Well, all the security guards are big KISS fans. I've already let him in without a pass."
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they just let him in the building. And he walked in and
what are you thinking to yourself like, oh my God, is this guy going to come here and beat the piss
He's
out
a big guy, even without the
6'4",
the boots. I mean,
6'4".
He's a big dude.
Oh yeah, he's a big man.
Yeah,
and as someone who, I mean, don't you sometimes just flippantly throw stuff out, man? You got 5 hours show, where you just got to be funny and you make jokes about people.
Oh, there's a lot of people I don't want to meet if they already know what we've said about them or how we imitated them, etc.
And haven't you forgotten sometimes?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
And then someone goes, and you go, "What's this guy's deal?"
Yeah.
And then you feel like, "Oh, remember, it was funny at the time," but when you and then you have this whole guy and you go, "Oh my God, I'm so." When he shows up, I don't know what's going to happen, and I go, "Man, I don't know, man." And I remember Howard looking at me and going, Craig, come here. It's going to be the best radio show I've ever done." And I was like, "What are you for? Who?"
Is it right?
Not for me, maybe for you.
And was he nice?
He was so nice. He laughed at himself. He actually, every time I tried to sell a KISS product, a fake KISS product, he would sell a real one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in fact.
But I've already got that. It's not fake.
Yeah, and in fact, some of it, he would try to say something serious, and I kept interrupting Gene and saying, "By the way, if I can just stop you for 1 second, if you go to kissonline.com right now, you will see the new KISS toilet." Now,
he's going ding, 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 ding,
right,
ding, ding.
Yeah. Right, because and as a joke, I say, "Now, what's the difference between a regular toilet and a KISS toilet? Where our toilet is a pay toilet. You have to put a quarter in, and then you listen to Deuce while you do your business, right?" And then Gene looked at me and said, "You know, I could do that. I could actually Deuce." And then over the years, so it starts with the confrontation. The next day, I get a phone call from this McGee Entertainment, which is the management company for KISS, and they said, "Hey, man, we just want to let you know, your biggest fan of these Gene Simmons jokes is our singer, Paul Stanley." And I said, "Get out of here." And they said, "Don't tell anybody, but Paul loves when anybody makes fun of Gene Simmons." Like, "Oh, are you serious?"
But you can do Paul.
And and he hates it. That's the problem, is he hates it. We did a charity event in Detroit 6 months ago, and he said, "Craig, do your impression of me." And I said, "Hey, everybody, this is Paul Stanley." He goes, "You make me sound like I own a hair salon in Long Island." And I was like, "Oh,
you don't?"
Yeah, I know. I said, "Man, what a great premise."
Makeup, right.
Welcome, come on in. It's the Paul Stanley Hair Salon. Have a seat. I'll give you a blowout. There's two Paul Stanleys. There's Paul Stanley off stage, where as a kid, I really admired confidence. I wasn't a confident kid, and I loved interviews where I saw Paul Stanley. Someone said, "Why is KISS so great?" It's such a softball question. And he said, "You know, a lot of bands are envious of KISS. I'm even envious of KISS." And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. And then there's on stage Paul Stanley, where I saw him say in Las Vegas, touring with Aerosmith, he goes, "All right, people, now listen. You know, I know this town, Las Vegas, is known for its buffets. And I can tell you right now, after this show, I see a lot of people in the front row I really want to eat." Wow. What are you talking about?
I brought in my love gun.
I saw the same tour 2 months later in New York City. They performed Madison Square Garden, and I go with a bunch of comedians. I bring Jim Norton, and Jeff Ross, and Steve Byrne, and we go backstage. And anyone who works for KISS that walks by, I go, "Hey, did you hear him in Vegas when he said he was going to eat the front row?" 3 different guys that work for KISS said, "Did you hear what he said in Omaha?" You hear what he said in Omaha? I said, no. Yeah. Ask about Omaha. And apparently in Omaha, Paul Stanley said, all right, people, now listen. I know this town, Omaha, Nebraska, is known for its Angus beef. And I can tell you right now after this show, I'm going to want to sink my teeth into some meat. And the whole arena, after applause, went, what? And he goes, wait, now hold on. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a thigh or a rump roast. And the crowd went, what? And then the guitar techs behind the stage were going, what the hell's he doing up there? He was just getting lost in the woods. That is the whole show that I'm doing at the Comedy Bar.
We're going to lick it up.
And what's interesting is KISS is going to be here. Their road crew is going to be here.
Right.
On Sunday. They have a day off.
Somebody here says just bought a ticket to Craig's show. Looking forward to it.
Oh.
The thing we appreciated about Paul Stanley, and I've seen them 5 or 6 times probably in my life. Whatever city that you see KISS in, when Paul Stanley greets the crowd.
Oh, my God.
He takes the entire metropolitan area. So it won't just be
what's going on, concrete? I don't think about you crazy people in Mount Vernon.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically
concrete Mount Vernon.
Amphitheater.
It doesn't matter.
Dude,
whatever's the smallest town, Paul Stanley.
Are you from the Tri-Cities?
I can't believe you said that because one of the things I talk about during this show, and by the way, the tickets are at getgas.com. My website is getgas with 2s's.com. I saw him in Uncasville, Mohegan Sun Casino. It's in between Boston, Hartford, Providence, and New York. It's not New York. It's not Providence. It's not Hartford and Boston. It's Uncasville.
Right.
And several times, the first time he did it, he goes, Uncasville and the surrounding community.
Yeah, no.
And I go, did he
Is he a black priest?
Did he just say? And then he ended the show by saying, Uncasville and the surrounding communities, we love you. That's how he ended the show. He's a pro.
Sunday night.
It's all KISS jokes. A lot of musician friends of mine in Seattle asked me to do it in Seattle. So I did one in Austin last weekend. I'm doing the final shows in New York, but I'm going to do one night, all KISS jokes here in Seattle, Sunday night, getgas.com. Get Gas is up in Capitol Hill. Used to be the vegan heavy metal bar.
Heavy metal bar.
It used to be the vegan heavy metal bar. What is it? Why am I spacing?
Are you being serious?
Mike.
You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I lived up there for years, but
Why am I spacing on the name?
Are you doing this every time KISS plays? In other words,
I'm only doing it 3 times.
So you did it in Austin?
I did it in Austin, but KISS did not come to the show in Austin. But again, Sunday, everyone gets into town on Sunday.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And you still do the KISS cruise?
And I still, oh my God, the KISS fans hate me because of the KISS cruise.
You're kidding
oh my
me.
God.
What?
Do I have time to explain this?
Oh,
yeah, just
can you go back on the other side?
Yeah.
No,
Listen,
commercial break?
take a break.
I want to hear why people hate you.
Yeah, the KISS fans now hate me more than Gene Simmons ever did. You're not going to believe I made a joke that they took the wrong way. I'll tell you about it when we come back from the commercial.
More with Craig Gass right after this.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com. And screen it like you mean it.
Transit is better with an Orca card. Here's why. 1, it's easy. Just tap and pay your way onto Metro and all other public transit around the Sound. 2, your tap shows us when and where you're riding the most, so Metro can serve you better. And 3, Orca cards are for everyone. 18 and younger now ride free with a free youth Orca card. So what are you waiting for? Get an Orca card. Tap for transit and make your ride count today. Visit kingcounty.gov/tap for transit.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Comedian Craig Gass joining us in studio. Sunday night, you got a show doing all KISS.
All KISS jokes. All the tickets are at getgas.com. I haven't performed in Seattle in 4 years. The High Line, is that what it was called?
High Dive.
High Dive's in Fremont.
No, High Line. People here are saying High Dive, Capitol Hill, I guess High Line.
Listen.
Oh, yeah. It had that, like, the old school car or something parked out front.
If you've done cocaine in Seattle, you know where this place is at.
Okay.
It's in Capitol Hill.
Fair enough.
And now it's called Capitol Hill Comedy Bar. And the link for the tickets, it's an all KISS comedy show, making fun of KISS the entire show. It's at getgas.com. Get Gas with 2 S's. I was saying before the commercial break that Gene Simmons had his issues with me, and then Paul Stanley steps in and says, I like you, and I want you to perform with KISS. So he books me on this event called the KISS Cruise. I go on the KISS Cruise, and I make a joke on the KISS Cruise that I cannot believe the reaction I got to it. It was a joke. I met a girl on the cruise who was the cruise director. She's super upbeat. She's peppy. She's the Julie McCoy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sure.
That's the only other reference
the
I
KISS
know.
Cruise. And she says, oh, my God, you're the comedian. You're Craig. You're the guy who does the, with Family Guy and American Dad. You do voices. And hey, do you want to do a funny announcement on the ship tomorrow morning? And I went, oh, God, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you a question. If I make an announcement, who's going to hear the announcement? She said, well, if you want, we can flip a switch, and it'll get piped into every cabin. And I went, flip that switch. Flip it. I know exactly what I want people to wake up to. The next morning, 3,000 of the biggest KISS fans in the world woke up to bing bong.
Hey, everybody, this is Paul Stanley. And this is Gene Simmons from KISS. And we have a very important announcement. Do not panic, but we have a very important announcement about the KISS Cruise.
My friends who were on the ship said at that moment, all the fans stopped and were looking up at the speakers and smiling until the next words out of my mouth.
We've just hit an iceberg.
Now,
you're in the Caribbean, right?
When I say we're in the Bahamas,
right. Okay.
There's no reason for you, as an intelligent person, to go, this ship's going down. We're in the Bahamas.
But do not panic, because KISS is going to take care of everybody. We actually have 3 packages to get you off the ship. First, we have the platinum package, $5,000. We'll put you in a life raft, and you have your own private photo taken with KISS. Then we have the diamond package. Isn't that right, Paul? That's right, the diamond package. For $10,000, where we throw you in the ocean with Tommy and Eric, and then KISS floats by on a raft. We do a private acoustic show.
Everything I said was stupid, but several KISS fans ran up to the employees and said, so KISS is just going to charge us to get off the boat now? They believed it. Yeah, they believed it.
Thank God they couldn't see you.
Yeah, and then the next year I started doing announcements. The next year was like the last time I went on the KISS cruise. I did announcements as other celebrities, and Sebastian Bach was on the ship, so I started doing announcements as Sebastian Bach. Do you ever look at Sebastian Bach's Instagram page?
No.
His whole Instagram page is all of his cameo videos.
Oh, God.
And he makes a lot of money doing these cameos. And the man does not do a second take. Somebody directed me to what, and I can't even tell you what the date is, but if you go through his Instagram, you'll see this video where he goes, hey, what's up? This is Sebastian Bach. And I want to wish a happy birthday
to Dave. Dave, your wife Carol wants to wish you a happy birthday. Rock on. And I know that cancer is very hard. Oh, my God. What
here
the
we
hell?
go.
And he just keeps reading. Dude, do a second take. Do a second take.
Don't we have a little Smokey Robinson attempt at doing that?
The Smokey Robinson doing it. You'll figure out what he's trying to say.
Okay. By the way, I have another cameo that's made a Cameo Hall of Fame.
Happy Chinooka.
I don't know what that means.
He said,
I don't know. I don't
He
know
literally
what that
goes,
means.
well,
Your family wanted me to say this,
Happy
and
Chinooka.
I don't know what it is, so happy Chinooka.
Like, damn, bro.
Have you ever had any run-ins with the previous members of KISS? Have you ever met Peter Criss or Ace Frehley or Mark
they all
St.
love
John
it.
or
They all love
Vinnie
it.
Bruce
Kulick, Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah.
They're all super supportive of it. And
I bet they are.
Can I just point out one thing? This is Gene Simmons from KISS. I'm listening to the show on an ISDN line at the KISS headquarters. You make jokes about Hanukkah. There's only 35 more days until Hanukkah.
Happy Chinooka.
And right now at KissOnline.com, get your Paul Stanley hairy matzo balls right now. Go to KissOnline.com and take care of your Jewish friends. Boom. Sorry. You know what's funny is that...
Does he say from KISS every time?
So here's where the joke comes from. The first time
I love it.
The first time he does say it every time, but the first time he confronted me live on the air, it happened to be a day that was a big day for me personally. I was headlining Caroline's for the first time, which for a stand-up comedian is a big deal. To headline, it's in Times Square. It's a big club, and someone told Gene, Craig's got a big day today. And he said, give me his phone number. And someone gave him my phone number, and he left me a voicemail. I still have the voicemail. It just goes boop. Hi, Craig. This is Gene Simmons. From KISS. He actually said from KISS on my answering
Because
machine.
you have a lot of Gene Simmons.
Yeah, like I'm going to confuse you with Gene Simmons from Pet Boys. I know who you are, man. And he said, I want you to know, I know you're headlining Caroline's, and the KISS Army is behind you, and I support you. That's why I'll be in the front row. Sat in the front row with a bunch of women he brought to the show.
Of course he did.
That's awesome.
And when I started doing jokes about KISS, he just started to turn around and look at the crowd. You know he's talking about me. Isn't that something? And then he invites me to a strip club that night, and he lets me bring my friends. And that is when I witnessed a rock star. It is a crazy thing to watch a rock star walk into a strip club because the music stopped, immediately started playing KISS. We get escorted into a back room where the strippers come out in force, and they just covered Gene's. There's two couches. Gene's on one couch, covered in strippers. Me and my two buddies on the other couch going, yay!
Good for you!
Yay!
Nice
Go
to
Gene!
meet you!
Yeah! And then Gene sees me through the crowd of strippers and he goes, hold on 1 second. Ladies, can I ask you a question? Do you like stand-up comedy? You do. Great, because this gentleman right here is the gentleman who does the impression of me. Isn't that something? And all the strippers looked at me and I went, what's going on? And they all went, nothing. And I was like, all right, okay, no, you're right. Yeah, probably nothing. Yeah. But yeah, over the years, doing that impression, it's not just former bandmates, because you asked about did former bandmates like it? Former bandmates, former employees, they all on the down low will go, I got a story for you. And they all try to hand me stories about him, and the stories are horrifying.
Have you ever translated any of the stories to stand up and then have him say, how did you find out about that?
There's one that scared the hell out of me. There's just two that are like my all-time favorite. One is one guy called me up from a recording studio and said, the guy who owns this recording studio is a huge fan of yours. You mind if I put him on the phone? I go, of course. And this guy goes, dude, I love all of your impressions, but your Gene Simmons is my favorite because Gene Simmons was the first guy to ever screw me over in this business. Gene actually came into my recording studio many years ago to produce a new album for a new artist. And at the last minute, Gene tried to do this move where he tried to move into my largest facility for the same amount of money. And then he just showed up and said, did you get my message? I want to use Studio A. And I said, I did. I actually called you back. I don't know if you got my message.
Right.
But I left you a message. Someone is using that studio, and I asked them if they would switch, and they said no. And he goes, do they know that Gene Simmons from KISS is here? And he goes, you know what? If you want to ask them, I'm not going to ask them again, but if you want to ask them, you can go ahead and ask them. He goes, all right, where's Studio A? It's all the way down the hall. It's last door on the right. Gene Simmons goes walking down the hallway, opens up the door to Studio A, looks inside, and sees the Wu-Tang Clan recording an album. Closes the door, comes back up to the front, and goes, right, where's Studio B? He never even opened his mouth. But the one that got back to me was the guy who works in the road crew who said, hey man, I got a story for you. Years ago, this is before Gene Simmons got married. We're on tour. This is about 20 years ago. Gene Simmons hooked up with Miss America while we were on tour. Miss America came to our show. Gene hooked up with her. It was crazy. The next night, Gene hooks up with a girl that looked like a prostitute. Like, everyone in the road crew was like, Jesus, did you see that? Oh, my God. The next night, they have a day off in a town that's so small that the band and the crew are staying in the same hotel. And this guy tells me from his point of view, he goes, I was sitting in the bar of this hotel when Gene Simmons came walking through the lobby, and he's dragging this enormous girl with him through the lobby. And I looked at him, he turned around, got in the elevator, pushed the button to his floor, and then he noticed me, and then he folded his arms and said, oh, yeah. and the doors closed. So he walks up to Gene at soundcheck the next day and goes, Gene, did you hook up with that girl last night? And he goes, of course. And he goes, Gene, didn't you hook up with Miss America the night? He goes, Steve, listen to me, okay? I'm going to give you some valuable advice. You can't have filet mignon every night. Sometimes you got to go to McDonald's. It's the worst joke. It's the worst advice I've ever heard in my life. And I did an interview with a rock station in Portland like 6 years ago, and I told that story. And the guy called me up and said, hey, man, I got to play you this great audio I have with Gene Simmons talking about you. And I said, oh, what was he saying? And he goes, well, I played him your story about filet mignon at McDonald's. And I was like, you played that for him? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, you got to hear his reaction. Played the whole thing, and at the end of it, they go, so what do you say to that, Gene? And he goes, well, it's true. You can't have filet mignon. He stood behind it. I was scared to death when I heard it. But I did hear, again, I flew here from Austin. I saw KISS last night in Austin. All the videos on my Instagram right now are from this KISS concert I was at last night in Texas. And one of the security guards was wearing a Craig Gass Sucks shirt. And he told me that Gene Simmons saw him and said, where'd you get that shirt? And he goes, oh, man, Craig Gass, the comedian, did a show last night. And he goes, yeah, did he talk about me? And he goes, a lot. and Gene Simmons said, good. He was happy about it. So Sunday night, the Capitol Hill Comedy Bar, it's beginning to end, the whole show. A little bit of background about me and just how I learned how to do voices, growing up in a deaf family. Do you guys know I grew up in a deaf family? Yeah. My whole family's deaf. My mom, my dad, and my sister are all... I'm laughing because...
That's hilarious.
Well, it is.
No wonder you were a quiet kid.
And sometimes people get it wrong. Like I did a show once opening for Metallica, and this is a quote. You can't get mad about this. I'm just quoting the man. When I opened for Metallica, the drummer Metallica introduced me to his band by saying, hey, man, this is Craig. This is the guy who does all the voices. And check it out. His whole family is retarded. I go, not retarded. Oh, dude, they're deaf, man. You're messing my whole story up. Yeah. So. I love that when I go, I'm only laughing, and you go, because it's hilarious. And I go, yes, you're right, because it is hilarious.
Could you do a sign language comedy show?
Yeah, in fact.
I'm being dead serious. Could you do it?
Absolutely. And the best deaf jokes I've ever heard in my life were from deaf people. Like the most offensive. Like a few years ago.
Because that's how it works. If you're going to do a black joke, you'd have to call me on stage. Here's my friend Steve. Yeah. I can say your material. It's like Michael Che and Colin Jost.
Right, exactly.
But you're fluent enough in ASL to be able to go up there and just riff for an hour?
Yes, and the jokes from deaf people, like a few years ago, my sister turned 50, and we threw a surprise birthday party for her, which...
You could argue that anything
Do you have to keep it down? Right.
Don't be.
I feel like I can pull that off.
You guys are already ahead of me.
It's like having a blind.
you hit.
Yeah, it's like having a blind. It's like having a blind brother and turning the lights out before he gets in.
You could argue that anything to deaf people is a surprise.
Sure.
But we threw a surprise birthday party for my sister, and then after the big surprise, we're all sitting down. And my
Do you have to sign surprise? I mean, not like the joy like surprise. Like, they can't hear you.
Well, that's a great question too. Is do they do American Sign Language at a concert?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they.
Would you sign for Paul Stanley?
Right, exactly. You can just stand by the stage. You're already wearing all black. I mean, maybe they can put you in a little bubble. Put you up on the.
I sign out.
Did they just say
the front
Mount
row?
Vernon? They did. He signed it, bro.
My sister, after we did the big surprise, she sits down and we're having dinner. And my sister, who is deaf, is sitting across the table with me. She's signing to me and she waves and says, "Do you want to hear a good joke?" And I said, "Sure." And then she said, "Me too." And I was like, "Oh my God." I had never heard that joke before.
Craig
I never heard that
Sunday
joke
night, please plug the show one more time.
Yes, it's going to be Sunday night, the night before the final KISS concert ever in Seattle. And this is the end of KISS.
I'm almost for sure you're right because U2 extended their Las Vegas residency where you live, and they asked KISS if they wanted to back it up. And Paul Stanley said, "I am done." I mean, you could do a better night, but I am done. I'm not doing this.
I'm done, people. Puyallup and the surrounding communities. I'm done.
So this is going to be it.
So this is it. And on Sunday night, and people who work with KISS, people in the band KISS, have been fully supportive of me making all these jokes. They endorse it fully. And the whole show, we're doing 2 shows now at the Capitol Hill Comedy Bar, brand new comedy club up in Capitol Hill, and the info for tickets is at getgas.com. It's
2 S's.
Getgas with 2 S's.com. Man, it's this station means a lot to me. And even just being in the car and listening to you guys for years, just going, "Hola!" just feels good to say. And to be able to come in this room and finally, we've been hanging out with each other for years.
I know,
at
man.
Concerts and doing the roasts. And,
but nothing official, right?
And it's tough because doing the roast with you guys, I'm a fan. And then I got, I've done roasts where,
And then you talk smack about it.
You have to. You're supposed to.
Right.
And I remember, all right, it's the men's room, so I got to put one of you in a handicap stall, right? That's I have to. Someone's got to be the recipient of the handicap stall. I've done roasts with Scott Ian from Anthrax. I have seen Anthrax 20 times, but it's a roast, so I have to say Anthrax. What a great name for a band that makes everybody sick.
Right.
If someone shows up at your party and says, "I brought some Anthrax," you hope they're talking about the disease. Damn. And Scott's looking at me like, "Dude, you've been to my shows." I know, it's a roast. It's a roast. I have to say things.
Right. By the way, just, a couple texts. I might have to go to the show now. I'm glad they say it like that. I wasn't going to.
Right.
I'm dying laughing at work right now. You need to bring Craig on more often.
Awesome.
No, we contractually, it's limited.
Yeah, make a whole Seattle day out of it. Go up to Capitol Hill, see Craig, go over to Dick's.
Yeah. I know you've been sober for a number of years, so I think we made it to drinking time.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Coastal's biggest deals of the year are here. Country Companion poultry feed is buy 2, get 1 free, and all large pet food bags are buy 1, get 1 50% off. Take 15% off all in-stock regular price grills and grilling pellets or buy 2, get 1 free.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, just what your holidays need.
Shop Coastal's Black Friday sale now and save on all your gifts and essentials.
On Instacart, I can shop a huge selection of pet supplies, from that one brush that scratches him just right, to that extra comfy bed he can't wait to flop down in. And I get everything delivered right to my door in as fast as 1 hour. Okay, settle down. I know it's here. Yes, very exciting. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get a free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Instacart. Add life to cart.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention Love20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
I know you've been sober for a number of years, so I think we made it to drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is.
We can change that.
So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time is, as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. I originally had a different toast completely written out, but instead we're going to go with our guest, Craig Gass. That's right. It has been years in the making, man. I'm glad you could finally actually show up on the show.
Me too.
And being a massive KISS fan, nothing brings me more joy than listening to you make fun of them, because they are easy to make fun of. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things, man. You will be at the show Monday night?
And I'll be at the show, too.
Oh, cool. All right, cool. I'm going to look for your ass, man.
Do you have, like, special passes or anything?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I got an all-access pass. It's in my car right now.
So if I sit there and insult the band, I can get all access. That's what you're telling me.
It's specifically, Paul wants me to make fun of Gene. He doesn't like it when I do jokes about him.
Okay.
And they pit me against each other, and it's really insane. And then they make fun of me, too. The other night, Gene Simmons said, he brought me over and he said, "These are my friends. I want you to entertain them." And I go, "Hey, what's up? My name's Craig." And he goes, "No, impressions. Come on."
Do your thing.
All right. And I start doing
Dance
impressions.
for me.
And one of the guys says, "How do you practice those impressions?" I said, "Nah, it's a long story. My family's deaf." And I said, "Is that true?" And Gene goes, "It's true. His family's deaf, and he's dumb." And I went,
"Oh, damn."
So it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. And I'm so grateful for them because I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan of the band.
No, man, that's awesome.
When you guys were out smoking a cigarette, Craig was telling a story about him and Miggs and this and that.
Oh,
and he's
Miggs
like,
helped me
if I
get
had
sober.
reached out to you guys, I think I'd still be using. I was like, you would be.
Miggs helped me get sober by talking to me as a friend and saying, "You're being an a-hole right now, and the way you're treating your friends is not cool." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." And it really woke me up. And I said, if it was this group of guys,
oh no, we would not.
You're awesome. Keep busting them.
Stop being a puss. Come on, man.
You can get darker
this.
than that.
Yeah.
Tell them what you really think, man.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so we pour this booze and we drink this booze, and Craig doesn't drink because he's a moron. Well, I'm sorry, man. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think, Craig, that it is yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And our contestant, Craig Gass. So, Steve, could you please tell Craig how the game is played?
All right, Craig, this is what we're going to do, all right? All right, so it's called Profile This. We have 3 categories, okay? So I'm going to read to you a story of something that happened, but I'll leave out key elements of what it's responsible for. Okay. So basically, today, we have the wonderful world of drugs. We have a category called interior designing. In other words, or decoration. You guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And finally, animalize this, where you guess the animal that's responsible for causing the problem. Okay. So you have your choice of 1 of 3. Drugs, where you would guess the drug that someone was on. Interior decorating, where you guess something that should not be in their body is in their body. And then animalize this.
Well, I've done enough cocaine in my life that I am cocaine, so I'm going to go with drugs.
All right. Let's see what story we got. Oh, here we go. All right. I have cocaine.
Hey. Oh.
No wonder you live in Vegas. We frown on weed, but cocaine helps under snow globes. All right. So a man is heading to Montana State Prison, 20 months. after slowing down too drastically when passing a trooper's car sitting on a median on I-90. So that wasn't the crime, but it tipped off the trooper to a possible criminal activity. And what followed led to 5 felony charges, several misdemeanors, and this week, a 10-year sentence in prison for 38-year-old Charles Layden. Now, it started on the night of February 25th when Layden crested the hill on I-90. He's going 74 miles an hour, but he immediately slowed down his pickup to 60 when he saw the trooper. Side note to police that are listening, you know goddamn well that's what everybody does. It doesn't mean we're doing anything else. It means we know we're speeding. Anyway, the trooper caught up to the truck, saw it had a broken taillight, and tried to pull the guy over. While the guy was swerving, he would not stop, and then he dodged spike strips that other officers had put down in 2 different locations. Gets off on an exit. Moments later, he loses control of the pickup on an ice-covered parking lot and hit a police car. Now, he regained control, rammed the trooper's vehicle before he finally stopped and surrendered. Now, at the jail, a bag of drugs was in fact found in his ass. And more drugs were also found in his truck. Now, he ultimately pleaded guilty to felony counts of assault to an officer, criminal endangerment, possession of dangerous drugs, and possession with intent to blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he did all this while high on methamphetamine. But the question is, what is the drug that they found in his butt? Was it more methamphetamine? Was it heroin? Was it crack? Or was it fentanyl? So meth, heroin, crack, or fentanyl. They found one of these 4 drugs in his rectum.
I hope it wasn't fentanyl because fentanyl can be really dangerous there.
It can be dangerous anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
Anywhere.
So I'm going to guess... I mean, I want to say more meth, but if they found the meth on him, I'm going to guess not crack because crack is... I mean, if we're going to get technical about this, the rocks are going to be... I'm going to go with heroin.
Heroin. All right. Okay.
Yeah, and if he's on meth...
Yeah, he was on meth. I don't know if he was on meth, but they found meth in his car openly when they searched the vehicle.
I'm with this. This is his counterbalance to all his meth use.
Maybe. I don't know that he thinks things through like that, but perhaps.
I'm with Craig. He's got heroin up there.
I'm going with crack just because it makes the most sense.
Oh, it's in the name.
Crack. Was it meth, heroin, crack, or fentanyl? We're going to find out next.
Oh, my bad. Hang on. I will take care of this.
That was a tease.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com, and screen it like you mean it.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, the category is drugs on profile. This man is going to jail for passing on the median on I-90. He tried to outrun the cops, rammed a police car. He was definitely on drugs. Not only was on drugs, but he had some in his rectum. Question is, what was the drug that he was hiding in his backside? Was it methamphetamines, heroin, crack, or fentanyl?
And that is the very question that was posed. We'll start with Miles Montgomery. You put crack in the crack. No crack in the crack. Now, Craig has since left, and I think he left because he's going to hang his head in shame knowing he was wrong, Ted. When he said heroin in the butt. It's not heroin, Craig.
It suggests I'm wrong, too.
Now, Craig, if you're... well, it does, because you both agreed that it was heroin. So, yes, if Craig is wrong, you, too, also are wrong, Ted. But one thing Craig said, man, I hope it wasn't fentanyl, because that would be dangerous. Craig, I got bad news. It was fentanyl in his butt.
And that's dangerous.
The guy put fentanyl in his butt.
Now, for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
I mean, I think for the record, I just want to say this. I think putting any controlled substance in your rectum is a bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't understand why he did, based simply on the fact that when they pulled him over, he had all of his meth out in the car. I'm sure it was packaged and all that, but like, what's the thinking that if I have one drug out, I'm going to put the other one in my butt?
I don't know.
Versus either put them both in my butt or have them both out.
You ever taken a drug from a suppository standpoint?
Talk about boofing?
Yeah.
No.
It's gone.
What do you mean it's gone?
It's like a vacuum chute. Once you pass this certain little thing...
what did you have to do it for? You said something like... You said
when I got my hemorrhoidectomy. So I had to give a couple of...
Oh, like a drug from a doctor.
Correct.
Too. All right, I'm making a term.
Yeah,
for
I know.
people
I know.
Okay. I mean, it's still the same thing.
What I'm saying is...
This one's illegal.
It's kind of like the ice cube. It just goes, and it's gone.
I'll never live that down.
I believe you described it as like the vacuum tube at the bank.
It is.
But boom.
Because you're like, oh, man. I hope on the other end it gets like a sucker or a dog treat. Because they're just like...
All right, your choices today, we got Bill Maher. Seth Meyers.
Okay.
The Jimmies.
Fallon Kimmel.
Weekend Update.
All right.
Writers. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
Yeah, it's right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers that help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Cup Noodles is changing their cups from styrofoam to paper. But don't be alarmed. The noodles will still taste like styrofoam.
Say Fallon.
Ted Smith.
Fallon.
For the first time in 50 years, Cup Noodles is making a change to their cups by switching from styrofoam to paper. Not to be alarmed, though, the noodles will still be styrofoam.
My son discovered them about 2 months ago. And homeboy loves
right, because there's cup noodles and then there's...
Cup of noodles, right. I'm thinking...
There's top ramen, basically, right?
No, well, there's top ramen. We have some ramen. My daughter likes that. But the cup noodles,
yeah, with the little dehydrated vegetables in there.
And all that's... He loves these things. He thinks that's the greatest invention ever. And I said, well, that's good. Because then you move out of the house and you're broke. You're going to be eating a lot of these.
Yeah, I've gotten to the age in my life where I'll cook ramen noodles, but I don't use their flavor.
You don't use their flavor, and you put... Their noodles are great to put with something else.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing like stir fry, I'll do all the vegetables, and I'm like, hell yeah, we're using ramen.
White Castle has begun replacing its fry cooks with robots. But there's one White Castle skill a robot could never master, jumping over the counter to choke a customer.
I guess writers or the Ted Smith?
Ted Smith.
Weekend Update.
White Castle has begun replacing its fry cooks with robots, but there's one White Castle skill a robot will never master: jumping over the counter to choke a customer.
A new study that's been released says that younger people want to see less sex in TVs and movies and want to see more friendships. So in other words, Gen Z just friend zoned Netflix.
The Ted Smith.
Weekend Update.
Smith.
Yeah.
Good one.
That was well done, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, shut up. I still want to see TNA. If you want to see relationships, watch something else, man.
That's why I like cartoon relationships. Because often the wife is way out of the guy's league.
Always.
Like Lois is a smoke show compared to Peter Griffin. I mean, in general.
Wilma Flintstone.
Yeah.
Hanging with that dumbass? Hell no.
Or maybe I'm just really turned on by sexy cartoons.
Or maybe Betty Rubble. She likes short D.
Yeah, that's my style. The Magician, David Copperfield, just announced plans to make the moon disappear. Oh. It's an amazing trick he calls daytime.
Weekend update.
SNL.
Fallon.
Hey, did you guys see this? The magician David Copperfield just announced plans to make the moon disappear. That's an amazing trick he calls daytime.
The world's oldest dog has died at the age of 33, and some experts believe that he could have lived even longer if I had looked before backing out of my driveway.
I'm not just going to say SNL. I'm going to say Michael Che.
Actually, it's Jost.
The world's oldest dog ever has died at the age of 31. And some experts believe it could have lived even longer if I had looked before backing out of the driveway.
I know. I heard that one.
That was a good one.
I was dying at my desk listening to that one.
Apparently, SNL was really funny.
I'll watch it tonight. I did not watch it.
I have a record too, old man.
The social media said like the funniest one in years.
Really?
So,
I was going to watch it Saturday night, and then ironically, I was just sitting at home doing nothing, and then a buddy of mine who has let me borrow this jersey he has a lot. I've worn the jersey a lot, but so much so that I just keep it at my house.
So you've stolen it, is what I'm hearing.
There's some talk of it.
I'm just saying that is how I hear this, but please continue.
Right, and it's a Corin Robinson jersey, Puma. So the Hawks were he was going to the game on Sunday, and he's like, "Hey, man, it's like 11 or like 10:45, 11." He's
but
like,
that's the blue jersey,
right? This is it. It's a throwback, but it's a real one that he bought 20-some years ago.
All right.
So, and it's Corin Robinson. Like, no offense to Corin Robinson, but I don't think a lot of people were like, put Robinson on the back of my throwback jersey. So he came over. Jesus, man, I'm telling a long story for nothing. I didn't watch SNL. He came over and we started BSing.
Because he wanted the jersey to wear to the game because it's an old school blue jersey.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ted won't give it back.
I know.
Well, he's got it now.
Yeah.
By the way, the Seahawks did look cool.
They looked awesome.
And the thing is, I remember that because I'm old. And then when they came into the league, that's what they looked like. And my wife made the comment. There's a couple of throwbacks. She liked the Oilers, which I never liked the Oilers outfit. But the Seahawks,
I do. Yeah.
She goes, man, that's pretty cool. I'm like, to me, that is what the Seahawks were and are. And yes, I'm old and curmudgeonly, and I don't change my ways. So I know they've updated, but I'm like, you can't tell me that's not a cool ass uniform.
Look, last year when we were in Munich, remember, there was a couple people that came up to me just because I was wearing that jersey, and we were like, where'd you get that? It's like, do you remember where Cowgirls is? It used to be the team shop.
Yeah. Ted, you used to have, remember the pennants that you would buy for the NFL
triangular,
teams?
absolutely.
Yeah,
they had a single bar on the ones when I was a kid, and the teams were they were established. They've been there forever. The Raiders had cool uniforms back then, as far as I was concerned. The Chargers had cool uniforms as far as the logo
The Chargers
goes.
powder blue. Here's my only issue. I think the Seahawks looked awesome in theirs, right?
They look great. Yeah.
I think the Titans dressed as the Oilers and like the Tampa Bay creamsicle.
I was going to say.
I think they look good, but also it's only because we see them in spurts. Because everybody was pretty happy to see those combinations go away.
I will argue that the creamsicle for Tampa Bay looks cool all the time.
Well, with those two teams, what I was going to say was, when those two teams came into the NFL,
Tampa and Seattle
I was
together.
alive. They were new teams.
Yeah, it was 76, I believe.
I thought that the Seahawks had the coolest uniforms I had ever seen in my life. The logo was great. Like, as a kid,
the logo was great, but I was
included.
Torn because it was close to Detroit. And as a kid, you just have different.
Right.
I get it.
But I had all the pennants and I had all the stuff. And now you put a quarter in, you got a chance for a new helmet.
Right.
And I thought the Tampa Bay and the Seahawks immediately. I was a fan.
I mean, look, the
Because as
NFL
a
did a
kid-
good job this year.
Yeah.
I am not an Eagles fan in the least bit.
Those
But
unis were- the
those
unis
Kelly
were
Green
badass.
ones look pretty cool.
I had a Jim Zorn jersey when I was 9.
He might break down in tears if he hears that.
Jim Zorn?
Yeah.
Well, it was either that or Largent. You know, I mean, like they offered like 2 in the Sears
I
catalog.
would have gone larger, knowing what I know now, but that's just me.
Either way.
Well, Jim Zorn was the head coach, though.
Yeah, I know this. I'm just
Steve
saying
Largent
the
was in.
We were watching the game yesterday. Well, I was watching the game yesterday. So oftentimes when the Seahawks play, like me and Mike will text a bunch. So it's just, I don't know that I know anybody that likes the XFL more than Steve the Thrill Hill and Mike.
You don't.
All right.
You don't.
The quarterback for the Browns is P.J. Walker.
That's right.
So I texted Mike in the third quarter.
Houston Roughneck.
Damn right.
I said, if we lose to a effing XFL quarterback, I am blaming you. Luckily, the Seahawks pulled it out, but I'm just like, we're not losing to this guy.
Hey, look, I can name 2 other players that are actually Heineke. He's done okay for himself. He's a former guy from there. But, oh, Jesus. Who's the kickoff/punt returner from the Cowboys? Turpin.
They have a number. They have a number of players.
But that guy, he's a former XFL guy, but he Pro Bowl last year. He's done well. That he's not going to be a receiver, not that, but he does very well at that. And there is who's that big ass tight end everyone wants? Is it Darren? Not Parham. Parham. All right.
We don't know.
XFL.
That's what Ted just said.
I'm just
we don't know
saying.
anything about. You're getting deep on this.
It's not deep.
This is like the 10 o'clock hour at the
I
JFK
don't
radio
know
show.
what college all of my players went to, but I know they're playing in the league now. So
Holy hell,
good for you.
He hate me in the game.
Yeah, he wasn't so great.
It is kind of funny when people watch football with me, they're just like, how do you know that? And I'm just like, I love college. I mean, even just good players, you know where they went to school. And look, me and my buddy, we were talking about it because there was a good game on late on, was it UCLA and Fresno State? And that one, basically the kid from UCLA or UNLV, he dropped a wide open, drops it. Like, I felt horrible for him. But I just looked at my buddy and I said, literally, this is it, right? We got the World Series. There's a World Series game on tonight. There was 2 on the weekend. Like, F1 was on yesterday afternoon. Right? Like, basically every sport you know of in the world is going right now. And also, like, yesterday, if you watch Red Zone, there was 13 games on. That's the last time that there'll be 13 games because of bye weeks and travel.
Scott was a little fired up.
But here's
this is the time of year. Don't wait till it gets November, December and be like, it's more important now. Like, folks, live in the moment.
You know a ton about sports. And I mean, it's impressive. If you start getting into detail on anything that involves basketball or football, I know one thing. This guy went to DeMatha High School in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
There's no way. Not that you don't know stuff about other stuff, but if you go in detail, I'm like, man, this is a DeMatha grad.
Yep. I dropped it on a guy last night in our bar, and he's like, that's a good school. I was like, damn right it is.
By the way, Danny just checked in from the morning show. I'm with Thriller Mike. It's Danny. I saw them, these Sea Dragons, at the game with Thrill's kids and his friends. Can't wait for this season. Damn right, Danny.
Is he even a sports fan?
It doesn't matter. He was there.
New Mexico's
Mexico.
got a ton of great sports.
What, the Lobos?
Lobos.
Yeah. And pizza.
I do want to try that pizza. All right, I know Danny's a fan. Your Sounders are in action tonight. I don't know why.
No kidding.
MLS, why are we playing 3 games? I know nothing about this. We got to stop being the weirdest league in the world with our playoff structure.
Why are you playing against Monday Night Football and the World Series?
Because you don't want people to watch.
Right. It'd be like ending your season.
The
in
World Series of Monday Night Football. Let's do it tonight.
Play Tuesday.
You also have the Lions hosting the Raiders. And then, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks hosting the Texas Rangers in the World Series. So a lot of sports on tonight.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. TSA asks a woman if she is smuggling anything. She says, well, it depends. Michigan man does meth and smokes weed, and that's where his car ride ends. To North Carolina, where thieves steal thousands worth of Halloween display. Florida man wanted ex-girlfriend's new man just to go away. And a woman who got the wrong order at a coffee shop will spend 3 months in jail. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
And our top story, we go to Michigan, where officers followed their instincts and struck gold. The officers were on patrol when they noticed a car that was parked in the middle of the road. Suspecting something may be off, they made the traffic stop official and paid the driver a visit. He asked them why he was being pulled over. I don't know why he asked. He was just stopped in the middle of the road, but hey, I'm not the one doing it. And later admitted to having smoked marijuana and thought that he was being followed. Singing like a canary, the man continued to talk to officers and admitted to having methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia in the car, which was confirmed by officers who found 35 grams of meth. He's now facing charges.
Maybe it's just me, but even as a cop, I'd be irritated with this guy.
Yes.
Like, look, man, part of the joy of my job is, like, I have to do something. You just opening up and telling me this crap, like, well, okay. It's like Googling the answer to a trivia quiz. Like,
I get it.
Come on, man. Part of the joy is me doing a little police work. You just telling me, like, I also have methamphetamine. Like, well...
See, now I'm looking at it for the perspective that I appreciate that you're making my job easier, that now I don't have to ask a question that I already know the answer to. My problem is you just being stupid, that you're parked out in the middle of the road, clearly high, and asking me why I pulled you over.
No, there's all that. You're right. But I would think that one of the things that would always appeal to me, like, do you mind if we search the vehicle? Right? It's a boss move.
Sure.
It's a power move.
Are you comparing this to, like, say, like an intentional walk in baseball?
Yeah.
You want to take a couple cuts.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, man, the reason I'm here, I don't want the gimme. We're still going to arrest you.
Right.
I know you have meth in your car, dumbass.
Let me just burn a few minutes here.
But let me just say the things I want to say. Jesus.
In other news, speaking of weed, we go to New York. TSA at LaGuardia Airport was going about their day when a woman came through their scanner, which alerted authorities to a mass in her groin area, requiring a pat down.
Oh, yeah. Adam's apple stuff.
Agents conducted the search, which confirmed that stowed in the confines of an adult diaper was a small baggie of marijuana.
Really?
That's it?
She admitted to trying to stow the restricted substance, and she was permitted to throw the baggie away and catch her flight.
Yeah.
I believe she was traveling with her mother, is what she said, and she was like, I was trying to hide it from her in my adult diaper.
I appreciate that they just let it go. Like, just throw it away.
Just throw it away and go.
It's just a small bag of weed?
Yeah.
All right.
Clearly not enough to be trafficking. This is your own personal stash that you were just hoping to burn up wherever you were going.
The problem is, depending on the quantity of drugs you buy at any one time, they might hit me for trafficking. Like, no, man, that's for me.
Right.
Whatever it is you think I might be up to, trust me, I don't share my drugs.
Right. I don't give this away.
I will do that in court. Your Honor, hell yeah, I had a lot of drugs. They were all for me.
In Korea, a woman was sentenced to 3 months in prison for a pitiful reason. She was going to get a delicious cup of coffee from the local shop and punched her order in at the self-serve kiosk. Unfortunately, something got lost in translation in the order, and she received something that was not what she wanted. This, of course, led her to respond like any normal adult. She threw an absolute fit.
Yes,
screaming at employees in the shop, she hurled insults and even went back to the drink preparation area without permission and assaulted one of the employees. Great idea. But it doesn't end there. Her rampage continued as officers came in to de-escalate the situation, biting the calf of an officer and kicking him as she was being taken into custody.
The calf?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
With more insults spewing from her mouth as she was taken in.
I don't care about insults, but the minute you bite me, you get tased.
Sure.
Like your forehead.
Right. It's off at that point.
Right.
Your forehead.
Yeah, I'm putting those prongs against the side of your head and taking it. Just don't bite me. It's not a big ass.
Right. Come quietly.
Bite me. That's all I said.
Crazy story out of Arkansas. A family woke in the middle of the night to the smell of a fire. At 3 in the morning, they tracked the smell back to their back deck, where they found the smoldering remains of a fire that had indeed broken out. There was actually a hole in their deck. Luckily, the fire melted the corner of their hot tub, which just so happened to leak out onto the fire and extinguish it on its own. That's pretty handy.
That's thinking.
Fire crews arrived and attempted to find the cause, but to no avail, which I have no idea how that works, because later the family scanned the area with a metal detector and found a small magnetic rock in the hole left behind by the fire that they believed to be the remains of a meteorite.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Well, they might be rich then. It'll pay for the deck.
Yeah,
that for sure. If it is, yeah, you got your money.
Absolutely right there. Men's Room Sports. As it's been said on this program, there's a lot of big sports going on. A lot of bad decisions were made. First off, MLS soccer. Your Seattle Sounders are taking on Dallas for Game 1 over on FS1. That starts at 6 o'clock tonight. The Game 3 of the World Series, Texas and Arizona are tied up 1-1. And that's going to be over on Channel 13, underway as we speak. Monday Night Football. The Vegas Raiders are in Detroit taking on the Lions. It's going to be over on ESPN. That is currently underway. And your Seattle Kraken taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, currently in a lead of 3-2 as we are wrapping up Second intermission, that's over on Root Sports if you want to go and check that out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for your sports and your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lovely Taryn Daly will join us tomorrow as we sit and spin. She's up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Transit is better with an Orca card. Here's why. 1. It's easy. Just tap and pay your way onto Metro and all other public transit around the Sound. 2. Your tap shows us when and where you're riding the most, so Metro can serve you better. And 3. Orca cards are for everyone. 18 and younger now ride free with a free youth Orca card. So what are you waiting for? Get an Orca card, tap for transit, and make your ride count today. Visit kingcounty.gov/tap for transit.